Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And it's time to talk about the world that has gone insane. I'm here with our usual co-hosts of Insaners. Gaz, how you doing?
I did all right.
And Christine, how you doing?
Great, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So there have been some certain topics in the news today. I'm going to be pulling them out as we do as we go along. But I think first of all, what we need to talk about is, in my opinion, not only the hypocrisy of it all, but the sheer sense of what is value and what isn't. And that is the aid workers, the 6 or 7 Western white aid workers that were killed by the IDF um, last week. As it this week, I can't even remember now, but it's a bit of a
This
blur.
week.
This week. Now, one of the things, some of the things that get me the most is that at this particular time, like close to 40,000 Palestinians have been killed, and for that somehow that drilling that in to the pro-Israeli lobbies in America and the pro-Israeli people within America is very hard because I don't think they have a sense of value of people who have a different melanin count to them. But regardless, now 6 or 7 aid workers from the West who, good on them for helping out these Palestinian people. But they look a bit more like the people in the Israeli lobbies, and they happen to have been killed by the IDF. And the world has gone really insane on this, and they're really angry, and they are slapping Israel on the wrist very hard about this, and they're very upset that they would cause such an incident. But what annoys me the most is that 30,000 or close to 40,000 people have been killed. Nothing. Some aid workers from the West gets killed. It's the biggest catastrophe on the planet. And don't get me wrong, it is terrible that they have died. But it wasn't until people from the West had been killed by the IDF that certain people were giving a damn. And I am going to try and look for some clips whilst we talk about this, because the the press guy for the White House was talking about this to journalists, and the way he was going on was like, "Oh, it's our bad. IDF made a mistake. All of these things, killing a handful of aid workers. We're sorry about that. It was just a mistake. It could happen to anybody. If Hamas did it, all right, like come down on them like a ton of bricks. Terrorists. We need to stop them. This, that, and the other. IDF who have been killing innocent people left, right, and center, and now Western workers as well do it. Oh, it's just a mistake, guys. We will do an internal investigation. All of these sort of things. Ridiculous.
America does that all the time. They kill their own soldiers by mistake. They killed a bunch of Canadians by mistake overseas, and the pilot that did it went to court, a military court, and got off. I mean, he was completely guilty, at least of negligence. We'd pre-booked a range. We were firing small arms. He's up in a jet. Reports that he's getting fired upon by small arms, rifle, handgun sort of thing, that won't reach jet. He gets to bomb us and kill us. And he did. And then it was, oh, my bad, just like you said.
Yep. Oh, my bad is and they get away with it. And what people are saying now, that this is probably Israel like trolling, because we've shown countless clips of them, of the IDF doing terrible things. And by the way, Ginger is MMH, which is why I'm hosting. Yeah, so we've seen them do countless things, terrible things now with their racism and them basically taking over people's plots of lands and stuff like that, and now basically killing Western workers as well. Like they truly, genuinely feel they can do anything and everything. And I'm also going to look for that clip of Benjamin Netanyahu apologizing about what happened. He did like a clip for national TV. He is smiling while he's talking about this. You can see he's trying to hold it in. He knows he can do what the hell he wants whenever he wants and get away with it. I do think the tide is turning a little bit regarding Israel. I mean, I say a little bit, but it depends on who's in power. If more pro-Israeli people take power because they're trying to out the progressive members of the Democratic Party right now in America, because they themselves are against the IDF and the Zionist forces of Israel. They it might be business as usual, but people are not stupid anymore. They are very much aware that there's a genocide going on right now. So even though they might put in pro-Israeli politicians, at the same time, the general public won't fall for this crap. Anything to say, fellas? While I look for some clips.
Yeah. Aren't they also? Wasn't there some sort of statement in regards to Syria as well, that Israeli had some?
Yeah, they bombed Damascus, didn't they?
Say again?
They bombed Damascus in Syria.
I mean, what is it? Was this always the plan? I know that their leader did say 8 years ago that he wanted to wipe out all of Palestine, but does it stop there? We've got to ask ourselves. And one of the main reasons, in my opinion, is the United States wants to keep that region unsettled and at war so that they cannot unite. OPEC can't set prices like they could possibly do if they're at peace, because America is addicted to oil.
Yeah, I totally agree. The distance from the first vehicle struck to the third was over a kilometer in distance. That wasn't a mistake. The vehicles were clearly marked on top. Yeah, I heard, but they still thought Hamas was in there. I mean, even when the vehicles are marked, I can understand.
It's a war crime.
Yeah.
It's still a war crime.
But I mean, I was going to say, just like Joe Biden said that it's what do you say now, that they need to do a ceasefire. A lot of people now in the United States for the first time have actually said, but they're pushing for a ceasefire.
Yeah, but he says he do a ceasefire, and he still sends them over fighter jets, and like he says all of that. One side of it, ceasefire. Here you go, have $18 billion in fighter jets, and all of this. Like it has some more bombs and more military aid, and like I want to show you this clip. This is after. This is Benjamin Netanyahu. Just look at his posture. Look at his face. He gives everything away. This is after the Israeli, so the IDF killed the aid workers in Gaza.
Oh yeah.
של פגיעה לא מכוונת של
כוחותינו. smile.
אנשים חפים מפשע ברצועת עזה. זה קורה במלחמה. אנחנו בודקים את זה עד תום, עומדים בקשר עם הממשלות, ונעשה הכל כדי שהדבר הזה לא יישנה שוב.
Damn, not the best clip I could find. There's a longer clip, which really does expose him. But
you see it the first seconds, the smile.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't care. Like he Benjamin Netanyahu is so unpopular in Israel right now because he's basically doing this war to stay in power. It's kind of a terrible thing he has to do.
Well, America does that too, right? But you know that he's just doing the song and dance. He knows he's just doing the song and dance. He knows he gets away with it as long as he pretends to play and pays lip service to it on the news and says, sorry, it won't happen again. He's not going to make sure it doesn't happen again. This is just a game, a dance.
Yep, exactly. And he's but I think the smile just comes because he's able to get away with everything, and when you got the backing of America as well, he feels invincible. Trying to find this one.
It's not stopped. I don't see how it's stopped.
I'm trying to. What's the name of the guy who's like the press guy now? He took over from that black lady.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I got clips of him, but I want to find. Wait, naughty.
How do Palestinians get out their side of the story? Oh wait, they can't, because their journalists have been killed. The families of those journalists have been killed. Al Jazeera has been banned. Their news network has been banned.
Yeah. Okay, I got some I got some clips here, so let's see if I can find something. Let's start from here. Okay, let's add that to that to that to that. Let's go.
You said that the White House is outraged by the strike that killed these World Central Kitchen workers. Has the White House already conveyed that outrage to anyone in the Israeli government, and what was their response?
Well, I won't speak for the Israelis. We've been very clear about our feelings over this particular strike and our expectations of the Israelis.
So no answer.
No answer. Is that what we got? I thought we'd get a bit more. Okay, fair enough.
I go to Liverpool's room.
Go on, Gary.
I was just going to say, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's at this point, it's all in hot air. It needs to come with actions. It needs to come with sanctions. Until there's actual sanctions, this is going to keep on going on, because the US has got to wake up and realize it's now complicit in a war crime. And until it does that, then what we're saying doesn't mean anything. They might as well just say, Israel, stop right now, or you're very naughty, and they'll just carry on doing it. You need to show that there's repercussions for your actions, and stop giving them weapons and stop giving them such stuff. So,
Mate, unfortunately, Israel, I don't know, like the power they hold is just incredible, because they are able to buy all the politicians, and those politicians in turn are able to pass laws and legislations that just, so I'm just happy to just give Israel anything they want, everything they want, and they need a wait, look at you're getting back in. Oh. Yeah, they haven't had a dose of humble pie. They felt very invincible for a long time. They when you got the backing of a superpower, which, let's face it, they control. It's quite remarkable how America is the superpower that is under the thumb of Israel, and it should be the other way around, because America themselves loves to throw their weight around when it comes to other parts of the world and tell them what to do, but they're the only country that will be told what to do when it comes to Israel.
Well, it's oil. I told you why. It's the oil.
Yeah, but it's also that the legislators have been paid for by AIPAC and stuff like that. I'm going to quickly, sorry, boss, but I'm going to quickly just play this clip.
Thanks, Admiral. On the death of those World Central Kitchen aid workers, which includes one American who was killed, Netanyahu's reaction was, quote, "It happens in war." What is your reaction to that comment from Netanyahu?
I don't think it'd be useful for me to get into a tit for tat here with the Prime Minister of Israel from the podium. We've been very clear about our expectations for this investigation. We noted that the Prime Minister said himself there will be an investigation. So has his military said that. We look forward to that investigation being thorough and swiftly done. And as I said, that it'll be transparent, the results of it, and that if there's accountability that needs to be had, that it will be had.
How can you take Netanyahu at his word? As Nancy was saying, this was a deconflicted zone. They had marched their car. They had even coordinated their movements with the IDF.
Yeah, and as I said in my opening statement, obviously, setting aside this incident, because this isn't the first one, there are issues of deconfliction that clearly need to be fleshed out and improved.
So how can the U.S. continue to send aid to Israel without any conditions? Yes, they have a right.
We're not sending aid to Israel. We're sending aid into Gaza, and that's.
Weapons. How can they continue to send military aid
military
to
assistance
Israel without any conditions? Is there no red line?
We've had this discussion, you and me, quite a bit from up here. They're still under a viable threat of Hamas. We're still going to make sure that they can defend themselves, and the 7th of October doesn't happen again. That doesn't mean that it's a free pass, that we look the other way when something like this happens.
It does.
Or that we aren't and haven't since the beginning of the conflict urged the Israelis to be more precise, to be more careful, and quite frankly to increase the amount of humanitarian assistance that gets in. I haven't been asked about it yet, but I expected I would be. There was a discussion just yesterday with our Israeli counterparts about Rafah. Now, this one was done virtually. We expect it'll be an in-person meeting here in a week's time or so. But the whole reason to have that meeting was to talk about our concerns over a major ground operation in Rafah and to present viable alternatives for them to be more precise and more targeted. So the idea that we're some plastic graveyard here, we're not paying attention to the civilian casualties or the civilian suffering is just not true.
Right, but these are verbal urgings, verbal commitments. There's no other incentive besides the urging.
I know you want us to hang some sort of condition over their neck, and what I'm telling you is that we continue to work with the Israelis to make sure that they are as precise as they can be, and that more aid's getting in, and we're going to continue to take that approach.
He's so full of shit, that guy.
Okay, first of all, the precision of modern warfare, there's no way. Once he said that organization had prearranged and given their coordinates, not in those words, but it told them where they would be, there should have been no excuse other than they did it on purpose or they are so incompetent that they would have killed or even harmed those people. Because your battlefield, you know where your guns are, you know where your soldiers are, you know where your trucks are, you know where your organizations are that are there as aid workers. You know every integral part, down to not even just where they are, but what timings in which they will be there, what routes they take to get there, in and out. Precision, my ass.
I'll be honest. Whilst watching that clip, and I'm sorry, this is the man in me. I was slightly distracted by how goddamn drop dead gorgeous that reporter was, because she was stunning. But after that, after stop looking and gawking at her, I was very impressed with her putting that press guy to task by asking him questions. And you can see what a weasel he is, because he just doesn't want to condemn the Israelis at all for what they did. What they are doing is absolutely terrible. They're killing innocent people. Hamas always seems to be the bogeyman, the get out clause for all the atrocities that they're doing. And the American government doesn't. They want to maybe say, oh, what you're doing is bad, or we should put a stop to this, or maybe a ceasefire, but they're never ever going to truly condemn Israel for what they're doing. Hello, Rick B. How you doing? And the average US citizen doesn't even register that something is happening on the other side of the world. Yeah, I mean, well, it depends. I mean, maybe on the other side of the border, and even that, they don't register too well either, but it's all a boogeyman. Sorry, Chris.
And another thing with precision, what was I going to say? With Hamas, don't condone them, don't be around. And by the way, this is only going to grow their numbers, by the way. But there was no reason why they couldn't have used precision. I mean, if the Americans with SEAL Team 6 can go in and get Osama bin Laden or track down Saddam Hussein without bombing entire cities and countries, the Israeli military could do that as well. They're a very well organized and very well trained organization, and they could have gone in because back then Hamas wasn't that big of an organization. They could have gone in and killed them.
Yep, I agree, Gary.
I mean, because modern warfare methods, if it's a bombing, they've literally got cameras, they've got these targeting reticles, they've got GPS, they've got heat-seeking missiles. You're telling me, with all that technology, they hit the wrong target? I'm sorry, I find that very difficult to believe.
Yeah,
and they're getting I mean, again, maybe people who like Christine, who has a military background, can talk to this more than I can. But as far as I'm aware, they have super technology to mean that they can pinpoint exactly where they need to hit, so that they can take out infrastructure and stuff like that. You're telling me that they didn't know this was a conflict, which probably had Red Cross symbols, maybe was marked up to make sure that they weren't going to get fired upon. And you tell me they did it by mistake? Balls is all I say.
And then they say, oh, well, it was Hamas was in there. No, you got to prove that. And guess what? You're wrong, because there was no Hamas in there after you killed them all. guess what? There was no Hamas. And even just to open fire on a Red Cross vehicle, you have to know they're in there by seeing them, and they have to be armed. So you could have a bunch of injured Hamas people in that truck and still not bomb it. So that's bullshit. And if the Mossad, their special forces, CIA branch of the Israeli government, could hunt down Nazis after 20 years after the Second World War, don't tell me they couldn't go find Hamas. Bullshit.
Look, I'm at a stage now is that like when like regarding Hamas, like Hamas were voted in by the Palestinian people, and in a way they are the servants of the Palestinian people once they became their version of government. Obviously, with the way Israeli were bombing the shit out of Palestine and Gaza, trying to get a new government in wasn't necessarily plausible. But when is Hamas not really the bad guys anymore, or to a lesser degree? Because like if they are trying to defend the Palestinians and they themselves are under, and the Palestinian people are under constant attack, when are we going to start looking at, and I have always said this, regarding the IDF, when are we going to start looking at them as terrorists?
Yeah,
because they are.
I agree with you. In the beginning, Hamas were the terrorists, and they were a small group. Before they got voted in, Mossad could have gotten in and nipped them in the bud, right? But then the Palestinians were driven too far, and that's how they got into power. That's how they grew in numbers. I mean, it's like I akin it to the IRA and the troubles and how they later became Sinn Féin, the government, and how things sway and fro from one end to the spectrum to the other, and how you can sort of connect the dots and see it coming if you just stood back and took a second.
With Sinn Féin and the IRA, what happened is that a lot of the ex-IRA people started to get like sickened by the things they were doing and kind of like started to legitimize themselves by forming Sinn Féin. Now, I always thought that was a bad thing, but considering that we've now had peace in the Northern Ireland, maybe it was a good thing. But with Hamas, this has been the opposite, because they had it with the PLO. The PLO actually wanted peace, but unfortunately, Netanyahu, who was still the prime minister back then, derailed it by saying stuff to Yasser Arafat and stuff.
If you're going into the zones that have been designated as Palestinian and you're taking bulldozers, crushing those houses into the ground, entire villages and towns, and then telling the people that lived there at one time, take what you can carry and fuck off, of course they're going to rise up against you. You become the villain.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Daniel Vance says it here. Beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become the monster. But when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also into you. And how do you say that name?
Nietzsche.
Okay. It sounds German.
It is.
It looks German, yeah.
Pretty
so good. Yeah. So very much the case. And yeah, all they're doing is basically creating more terrorists. It's a vicious loop, but at the same time, as you mentioned earlier, Chris, like there's more money to be made in war than there is in peace. So, well, I mean, not necessarily more money to be made in war, but for contractors of war, that's how they make their money, and they don't want peace because peace is not financially viable for them.
De Havilland, the major arms company in the United States, I think that's what they're called. I mean, who are the main investors in that? Most of them are politicians, friends of, or family of. They make incredible amounts of money. They get all the government contracts. I mean, there's a reason they're in business. It's lucrative for both the people giving the contracts and for the people that make the arms. And then they use them to destabilize countries they don't agree with or they want the resources from. I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, I don't understand why so many, not people here, but so many people out there still can't see that.
Yeah. So
Actually, I should take that back because I once had the wool pulled over my eyes back when I was younger at the Gulf War and stuff like that. You know, looking back on it now, like, of course, it was a war on oil, a war for oil. But I was young and it was bashed into my head, patriotic. They're the enemy. They're the enemy, and that's as far as it goes. Everything's black and white, but it's not.
yeah, we're talking about after 9/11
No, the Gulf Wars.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was too young to really understand. I mean, how that even got started. To tell you the truth,
Saudi
It was all-
Arabia went into Kuwait. Oh, sorry, Iraq went into Kuwait to take their oil, and the United States didn't like that, so they went in to liberate Kuwait. No, they wanted to protect their oil interest. So all these young, poor men and women who were enlisted already or coaxed into enlisting because that's a patriotic thing to do. That's funny. I don't see your senator's son going. Were killed over oil, and it's just sad because we're repeating it.
yeah, exactly. What history does, it does tend to repeat itself, unfortunately. So, okay. Anything more to add on this? No. Well, Ginger Greek, he's unfortunately he's MMH, and when he's MMH, there's no getting hold of him. I tried contacting him prior to tonight. I was going to put my feet up tonight, but today, the show has to go on.
Yeah.
And so,
All right, so yeah, so I've got something to bring up.
sorry.
I said I have a topic to bring up.
Yeah, please do.
All right, so in Scotland, there's been a new hate crime bill being introduced. Now, the right wingers of this country and a few in other countries have lost their minds over this, saying it's the end of free speech and all this sort of stuff. Now, what the bill is to stop, to make it an offence to rile up hatred against specific groups. Like this includes trans people, this includes different religious groups, this includes different gender, so female, so women, basically different sexualities, so anti-gay stuff. So basically, like, if you're being like a new trait like twat, they can get rid of. Now the thing is, a lot of wingers are focused singularly on the trans thing and the Islam thing.
Is it speech that will incite violence, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like a boogeyman bill. So yeah.
Yes. So
yeah.
Yes, so like if you actually read the bill itself, that's what it's there for. Now, a lot of people are saying it's the end of free speech. It's the end of free speech. No, it's not. There's always been restriction to speech, which is that you can say something, that's fine. But the thing is, when it comes to incitement to violence, let's say, for example, if I went around saying that I think that women should go back in the kitchen, okay, that is protected under free speech. If I started to put that into a movement where I said that women shouldn't be able to work anymore, that is what's restricted under this new law.
And that you should physically stop them or pass legislation to stop them. Yeah. We've had hate speech laws here for many, 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 many years. It's not impeded my ability to speak.
No, because of the women are becoming so much more independent now. Like the men have regressed so much. I will find a clip for you a bit later of this one guy talking about how he wouldn't want women to vote anymore. But yeah, that bill, I would look. You can't sit there and be. You might say it's stupid, it's hilarious, but it stops people from targeting you as a generalization, because when you go after somebody, you go after them for them as the individual. You don't generalize. Now, white people have it really effing lucky, because there's one thing that never happens to them that happens to every other demographic of people, and they don't get generalized as a demographic of people who do terrible things. so often black people are looked upon as criminals and thieves, and people of my race are looked upon as potential terrorists, even whether it be Hindu or Muslim, it doesn't even matter. They look at the skin color first, then wonder what our religion may be afterwards. People
I've
get
seen
generalized.
so many Sikhs be accused of being Al Qaeda.
Yeah, and the bloody Sikhs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all of these sort of things. This is just to help to stop the generalization. If somebody happens to be a Muslim and they're crazy, maybe evangelical, whatever, they are there maybe as one person or even part of a unit, but they are still not the entire antithesis of the whole culture, of the whole religion, because there's so many Muslim people who just want to do their work, pay their bills, come home, have a meal, watch TV, put their feet up. They're no different to everyone else, in that particular sense. And so, yeah, go on, guys.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, go on, guys.
I was going to say, people aren't being victims with this. It's just that it's stopping people being harassed. Because the thing is that if you're trans and you want to go into, let's say, a bathroom, it stops an arsehole going to you saying, "You look trans, please get out." It stops people doing that. And by the way, this is for cis women as well, because there's a lot of cis women out there who don't conform to gender norms. There's some that are my height, I'm 6'2", or even taller than I am. I'd even have more built than I am, and get accused of being trans when they're not. So this protects them as well. So it's about protecting groups who often are, because, as I said, if I want to go around saying that I think, like, for example, especially with people like Andrew Tate now, there are people who are basically looking at women as pure sex objects. I'm sorry, that's the thing that is restricted by this hate speech law, that I can't go around saying that all women are good for is to be used as a sex toy for me.
Are you sure that's what it says? Because you could say that, I could say that. It's when I start whipping up violence against that group that it should be hate speech, right?
Or making legislation, basically.
No. So basically, what the thing is to stop. For example, if I'm going to organise a march, let's say I do a march for promoting the ideas of Andrew Tate, it's to stop that.
That's what I'm saying. Because earlier you said, "Oh, if I said these things," well, you're entitled to say those things, but you're not entitled to go get a mob who agree with you and then riot and hurt people with that speech, right?
My only concern is I don't like the idea of government stopping protests. Even if it's for people I dislike, even on the wrong side of the thing, because they could just easily swing around on you, and then next thing you know, you're being targeted. And I have an issue with that. I really do.
There's a difference between hate speech and a riot, protesting and a riot, though. Like,
no, I know that. I'm obvious with that. But we talk about people protesting. I get a bunch of incel dickheads going, "Women belong back in the kitchen," and they're marching along on the street with their placards and stuff like that. Let them get ridiculed for having that position. Let the whole world see them thinking, "Look at these dumbasses," like those Tiki Torch motherfuckers and those dickheads in Florida who were Nazis, who had to cover their faces up in shame because even though they believed in being Nazis, they still couldn't show their faces in public.
But
thank God.
They couldn't wear masks for COVID, though.
Yeah, exactly. So let them get. We ridicule them in the court of public opinion, for having those opinions. But if we start stopping people from protesting because of their ideologies, and even if it's stuff that we are totally against, it could easily flip on us, and people could. And it is to a degree. The Tories have tried to restrict protesting in this country,
and I still don't see that as hate speech or violent speech. There's a difference between those tiki torchers who are just yelling out slogans and those that are riling up violence based on their beliefs. Like, for instance, say you're a guy who didn't get elected after being the president of the United States and then went on a tour and made many speeches to many people and said, "We must overthrow the government." Well, that's the difference.
But I actually agree with them, because this is how we stop people going towards genocidal rhetoric. All right, because especially with what's been going on with the trans community this last decade, that's where we're heading. We're heading towards a genocide. Now, people can say that we're overreacting. No, the groundwork has been laid that we deperson the person, we're making legislation against them. We're saying they're sick. We're saying they're pedophiles. We're saying they're groomers. We're saying all this. I'm not saying we. I'm saying the colloquial we. That we're saying these horrible things. We're making legislation specifically targeting these people based upon nothing, based
And
upon
and legislation that is hate speech, right? I agree with you there. But me saying all women, in my opinion, should be relegated to making babies and sandwiches, that's not hate speech. In my
No, I don't think it's necessarily. I agree with Rick here. I don't think necessarily genocide, but what we are definitely going toward is regression. That's for sure. Now, for me, once you start demanding the persecution of people for just being who they are, so if you're saying, okay, all trans people need to die, I don't like them, they look terrible, and then you're doing some sort of genocidal Jews of the Jews in the Second World War sort of rhetoric. Yeah, that shit needs to be shut down. That's not in public opinion, things like that. You got to know the fine lines. As much as I said, I'm okay with people having placards over talking about maybe certain things, certain issues that we would find stupid. When it becomes horrendous, that shit needs to be shut down for sure.
I'm still listening.
But the problem is that we're testing the waters of what they can get away with. First of all, it's a bathroom.
I agree.
Now, trans people have been using the correct gendered bathrooms for generations, for centuries. All right, it's only in 2020 that it's become an issue. Okay, and the reason is because it's a group that we don't know that much about, so therefore we can stir up hatred about them. To the point that they've got people that I actually know involved in this crap, right? And they're testing the waters to see what they can get away with, and it's going towards a genocide. Now, the thing is, when you've got people like Michael Knowles outwardly saying we need to get rid of it, and we've got people like Howard Joyce saying we need to get rid of it, what more do you need to hear? And people literally using the words of Adolf fucking Hitler about them. What more do you need to hear to realize that's where we're heading? Now, again, for me, if someone starts repeating Adolf Hitler about a specific group, I get really worried really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, likewise, but Gary,
she was talking about the big lie. Now, the big lie, if you don't know about it in Mein Kampf, was about the fact that Jews were a good part of society, and he said that was the big lie that's been promoted to all of the Aryan race, that they need to set the Jewish race as part of them. Okay, that was what the big lie was. This lady in our country, in the UK we live on, started to repeat that shit about trans people. That should be worrying. Helen Joyce has said the same thing, and I'm sorry, that's the sort of speech that needs to be shut down. That is flaming horrendous. Sorry.
You know that I'm very left-leaning. I'm very pro-trans, pro-everything, like supporter of. However, like Zam, if we suppress people's opinions and right to speak their mind, those people go underground and can do more harm. What we have to make sure is that those people that are spouting those ideas don't whip up a crowd and cause violence or pass legislation.
Okay.
Up until then, because one day someone's going to say, maybe from the right, that I don't have the right to say the things I believe in, right? And freedom of speech is different from, hate speech. And we've had those laws here for like 2 decades. And I can say many, many things. It's when I start using those words to empower violence or to suppress people, then it becomes hate speech. Right?
Yeah, exactly. The moment you want your speech to be there to take away the liberties and the rights of other people.
No, I'm all for people having the right to express opinions, even if opinions I think are repulsive. I'm all for that. It's when your narrative, when the stuff you're saying is kind of genocidal inflected, that I get a little bit worried, and that needs to be policed. Okay,
Well, there's
because
plenty of people that have denied the Holocaust altogether or denied the amount of numbers. And that is disgusting, but it's the right to say it. I don't believe it. I look down in disdain upon those people, as do the vast majority of people, but they're not inciting violence. They're just being ignorant fucking pigs.
Yep. Okay, there's some comments here. Government may prohibit the use of fighting words, which is speech that is used to inflame another that will likely incite physical retaliations.
Already illegal.
Well, yeah, that's like, I could say to somebody, I'm going to kick your ass, but that doesn't mean I'm going to physically kick your ass. It probably means in a video game, or we're playing some sports, or we're playing a game of chess, we're having a debate. It could be all types of meanings, regarding that.
But
yeah.
Fighting speech is when someone reasonably can interpret your words. So you're probably standing and looking them a certain way, and the words they use are "I'm going to kill you," right? Not "I'm going to kick your ass."
Even that can be misinterpreted. You know what I mean? I'm going to kill you. Like I've played video games with people and said I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? And
you're not in the same room with them. They have no reasonable expectations that you can follow through with that threat at that moment. So not fighting words. If you're standing in traffic after a fender bender, or there's been some road rage, or someone cut in front of you in line, and the guy's having a really bad day and says, "I'm gonna fucking kill you."
Oh my god.
That's the
Sleeping Beauty has arrived.
Ginger. I'm done with the show. Let's all leave. Ginger's here.
Sorry. Oh my god. I got back from my brother's at like 4 in the afternoon. At 5 o'clock. Thought I'll have a nap. And
that was the end of it. Yeah.
That was the end of it. Fuck's sake.
I know that in American law, I can't do the word for word, but it's what a reasonable person believe at the time that they're about to carry through with those threats, those words. So, I'm going to kill you if you take that last waffle, as opposed to we've had a fender bender and I'm looking at you like I want to kill you and I use those words. That's when those laws come into effect, and they've already existed for a long, long time.
Okay, but it's also to protect, for example, Muslims in this country who, for example, the Mayor of London recently got accused of being in cahoots with some flaming imam who wants to take over the UK and all this sort of crap, and that sort of thing happens in Scotland as well, because Hazim Yusuf is a Muslim as well. And they make up crap about him, saying that he's this extremist because his parents are from Palestine. Well, no, his wife's parents are from Palestine. And they make up crap about him. And it's to protect stuff like that. Because, again, unless you have evidence to, suggest this stuff, that's what it's the law's about. Because, again, you can say that I don't agree with something. That's fine. That's your opinion.
I'm going to have to read your recent legislation.
No, it's not ours, it's Scotland.
It's completely different than the one we have, or I'm not understanding what you're putting across, because...
Well, Rick B says free speech has to be absolute. I'll tell you what, Rick B, nobody, and I mean nobody, is a free speech absolutist. No. Not even the love of your life and the idol that you worship on a daily basis, Elon Musk, who likes to claim that he is, and has proven many times that he isn't, is a free speech absolutist.
Yeah.
I
can't go into a theater and scream fire. I can't go into an airport and use the word bomb.
I can't be Don Lemon and ask Elon Musk tough questions. That'll be too difficult, even for someone like me. So, Anyway, before we go on to the next topic, but I have one lined up. Ginger, you got anything to say before you pass out on us?
No, carry on.
Okay.
All right.
So
Still in
before
a
we
daze.
do move on, a certain Scottish turf has decided that she's going to be the one who stands up against this and says, and has told the Scottish police to arrest her for reasons unbeknownst to me.
Good. Go
Well,
to jail.
I hope they.
She wants
I
to
hope
be
they do. Once
Yeah.
the law comes into place, I
Which it
hope they
has.
do,
She'll love
because
it.
she is nothing more than a stochastic terrorist now. She's been reduced to she's a fucking terrorist because her rhetoric has been absolutely one of the main reasons why there's been such a spike in violence against trans people in this country. So yeah, do arrest her.
She's asked
All right.
and is asking for it. So, see ya.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So I want to talk about something that I'm finding quite kind of interesting is the Taiwanese earthquakes. Now, obviously, there were some earthquakes that happened in New York, and I'm going to get into that as well. But there's a bigger picture that I want to talk about regarding this. So let's just have a look at some clips though of the earthquakes that have happened in Taiwan. I got a few
Was there a
beauties.
tsunami?
No, but
No tsunami. Oh.
Bloody hell.
he's reversing.
Oh. You reverse for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Move.
That's a fucking Indiana Jones shit going on.
Oh my
God!
I would be mad at the guy behind me for not.
Yeah, because just wasn't moving enough. When you
Yeah,
there's an
yeah.
earthquake
No,
in the High Mountain, and now they
Yeah.
start moving
oh
after
my
the guy got
God.
crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It's a
That guy should face criminal charges for that shit.
I
Well,
get
no.
look,
It's
I
panic.
see this shit as well when it comes to the police. Like the police are driving along and they want to get through the traffic, and what a lot of people do stupidly is just stay motionless. But all you're doing now is blocking the police from getting past you because you're motionless. Move along and find the fucking gap, create a gap, but don't just stand fucking still until there's the right opportunity for them to actually go past you. If you don't fucking move, they won't go fucking past you. And people do that all the fucking time. It drives me nuts. Yeah, we're gonna not
Yep.
make any fucking monetization.
In a country that rigorously prepares for disaster, this was not a drill. On Taiwan's east coast, a national emergency has been sparked by a 7.4 magnitude earthquake.
7.4.
Plates, glasses, and buildings began to rain down with
Holy
devastating
shit.
effect.
And you know there's people in there.
Yeah.
This woman's wake-up alarm was delivered by tremors
Look, there's-
and barks of terror.
oh my God.
The
Someone-
fear
Dogs
has
are
been
going
felt
nuts.
by all affected residents.
I
This region is where the earthquake has split
shouldn't
the
laugh, I'm so
seams
sorry.
of this country, with the
Wow.
nearby city of
Look at that.
Hualien the epicenter of the rescue effort. So far, at least 9 have died, almost 1,000 are injured, and
Just
as the
nine.
president-elect joins emergency workers, hundreds are missing or trapped.
The
most important thing is to rescue people. We need to find out how many people are still trapped and to rescue them as soon as we can. Those injured should be given quality medical treatment so they can recover quickly.
This city has been bent out of shape by the largest earthquake this island has felt in a quarter of a century. On September 21st, 1999, this major disaster led to the deaths of almost 2,500 people. In a part of the world vulnerable to earthquakes, the aftermath of 99 changed the way developments were built.
Yep.
Today, decades on, this
Look how
was
beautiful the
Taiwan's
city is.
tallest building in Taipei, shaking as the ground reverberated. This was designed to resist earthquakes, but in the most affected areas, the foundations of some buildings have been exposed.
We do have pictures of buildings canting over, leaning at 45 degrees and so on, where perhaps you have a fairly solid frame structure that will protect people if it's a good frame structure. But with serious foundation failure, then you've lost your building, if not the people inside it.
Despite the foundation flaws, engineers will assess whether the structures themselves have saved lives. But the first focus is on those missing, locked inside tunnels by debris and hoping to be saved.
Jesus.
All right, I think that's enough. I was going to look at a third, but those two will be enough. Now, look,
Sorry, really quickly. It's quite amazing how the technology has changed. Because if you don't know it's there and you see these buildings, these new buildings rocking, you think, oh my God, it's going to fall down. But they're so well designed. They are on shocks. They're on springs now, and they're meant to quake. Because if you have a solid structure, it'll crack. But if you're like what's that weed in a spring or a creek? What's that that bend with the water? Then you're fine.
Well,
I get what you mean.
This is like now just going into libertarianism a little bit. This is why I'm very against it, and I don't like it, because libertarianism, one of the things they are passionate about is deregulation. And when you have deregulation, you have situations like Turkey last year, where they had one of the biggest earthquakes ever, and I think about 5,000 people died. It was a lot, and pretty much the whole certain parts, I think, of Istanbul and places like that, they were pretty much turned into rubble because of the deregulation of not having.
Not Istanbul. It was southern Turkey on the border of Syria.
Fair enough.
The whole country of Haiti was destroyed because there's no regulation.
Exactly, because they want to save money and not put in the necessary safety measures in order for these things not to happen. Now, don't get me wrong. What we saw in Taiwan, some buildings did bend a little bit, and some of them did turn to rubble. But overall, you could see that they learned from what happened in 1999, and they didn't want that to happen again. Even though some buildings maybe have fallen, at a 45-degree angle or whatever, they're still up. They're just in a slant. Sometimes the regulations you put in are not 100% perfect, but they're still better than nothing. And maybe those people those people could have been crushed under rubble, but they're still alive because the building didn't collapse completely. So regulation is so important. Sorry?
And most of those buildings that we saw were probably older than 25 years.
Of course. Yeah. Back in 99 as well. Yeah. And the one that fell apart, obviously this week, obviously we're older. So yeah, for sure. But regulation, once again, is so important. It stops all the tragedy we've seen. It requires obviously to spend more money, which a lot of contractors don't want to do, but they want to keep as much money as possible. So they go down the deregulation route and hope that those sort of scenarios don't happen, but they might do, like it happened in Turkey. And what happened in New York now, luckily it was only a 4.8, but if it was a 7.5, I mean, some of the buildings are so goddamn old, they're over like 100 years old and stuff. Some of them, they date back to to the beginning of the 1900s.
But if
God knows,
sheer numbers, right? The skyscrapers are the biggest, most worrisome potential fatality makers, right? So
and there's tons of them.
A lot of old buildings in New York, but those skyscrapers are making, for sure. If we were all libertarians, and there were libertarians down there, Zam, you're right. Those buildings would just be death traps, and thousands. Each building would cause thousands of deaths.
Exactly, and credit to Taiwan that they didn't necessarily let history repeat itself. They knew what they had to do, and going forward, they're going to obviously improve their infrastructure even more. I mean, I saw other video clips of bridges shaking and stuff like that, and some of the people look reasonably calm considering what's going on. But that's because they have trust in the infrastructure in their society to not let history necessarily repeat itself. That can't be said about the Western world, unfortunately.
And they do drills over there in their countries that have repeated earthquakes. They're drilled enough that they can stay calm enough that they could, maybe adapt if it's possible to protect themselves. I mean, it's not always possible. But to add on to one more thing you said earlier, Zam, about cars not getting out of the way for ambulances, what I would like
and police and everything.
everything. I would like a trail cop car that went behind the ambulances and just started giving out tickets. One after.
What it is though, Chris, is like these people think that the best thing to do is just to stop. They don't realize that the best thing to do is to keep moving until you get a better opportunity for the police to pass you, which is how I operate as a driver. I don't suddenly.
That part of your tests? Like,
no, that's just something I was doing this before I became a cabbie because it just made sense that if you stop and you block the police from getting past you, you're not helping anybody. You think that because you're not moving, you're helping the police, but no, you end up being a blockage. You're in their way, especially on narrow roads, and we have a shit ton of them in London. You need to find an opportunity to get out of their way, to pull into the side so they can pass you, not just stop in the middle of the road, and being a nuisance. And I see that all the bloody time because I drive around London all the time. The police are blaring the sirens all the bloody time. You see that shit all the time, and it's infuriating how stupid people are when it comes to stuff like that.
We have a booklet that we have to read and a test we have to take before we're allowed to drive here, and that is heavily embedded in that test and in that booklet on what you're supposed to do. Pull up and pull to the right. And I can't believe that people are stopping in the middle of the road or not finding, even if you can't pull up and to the right, look around you. What's the best possible spot to go to, like you said, right?
Well, I just saw it just the other day, like I think today or yesterday, one car had the police behind him. All he had to do was change lane. There was 2 lanes, just change lane. But what he did was just drive really slowly with the police behind him, thinking that maybe the police would change lane. But no, all the other cars have changed lane. You need to change lane. So the police has got the clear lane, which all the other cars have given him. But he's just, it's just like, you're so fucking stupid.
And
that's where a ticket needs to be issued.
What's that?
Right there. So that's where a ticket would need to be issued.
But these guys are, but these cops
are too fucking stupid to be on the road, okay? And you just, I mean, the caliber of driving today is fucking shocking. Like they're awful, and I had like it's all the Eastern Europeans over here, like especially in my area. Okay, be they from Turkey, the Slavic countries, all that. They are fucking shockingly bad with a driver. They're either too dangerous or too slow, and they don't know how to act when the police are around or ambulance are going. Some of them don't even bother moving. Some of them just, carry on driving, or some of them tailgate to take the path with the ambulance as well, and all this kind of shit. And it's just gotten beyond the joke here. It really has. Gaz, let's go to Gaz.
There used to be, I don't know if they do it anymore, but there used to be like an advert for when ambulances need to pass you what to do, and their advice was go to the left or go to the nearest thing you can to let us go past.
Is it a theory test? Is it?
Yeah. I mean, and this is a story for you. An ambulance went past me, so I did what I was supposed to do. I went in. The ambulance went past me. I was about to pull out, and all of a sudden, this car tear-assed it right past me, nearly causing me to have an accident. Literally went woof, like it's literally seeing me pull out, and I literally did the other guy in front of me and said, "Are you all right, mate?" I went, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "That car nearly had you," and I went, "I know."
Yeah.
If you hit me, I would have been dead.
Yeah. Well, again, Christine.
That's why you check your mirror, pull up to the right over here. I mean, yes, you're supposed to pull over, Gaz, but you have to do it safely too, hun.
No, that's what I did. I pulled over safely, but as I was about to pull out, this car just went woof straight out. The other car was not very happy.
No, that's awful.
Well, for me, even though there are dickhead drivers around, and at night time when I do drive, and funny enough, I don't drive at night as much as I used to, so it's always a bit weird when I do. And it ends up, I feel like I'm in a street race in the Fast and the Furious movie because there's so many dickheads around racing. But the people I tend to find most annoying during the day are people on two wheels. They could be on bicycles. They could be on scooters. They annoy the fuck out of me because a lot of scooter drivers, they keep their L plates on because a lot of them don't have to take a test if you keep your L plate on. And that way they drive around London with no knowledge of how to drive around London or ride around London because they haven't had embedded in them a driving course, a driving test. They just put the L plates on and yeehaw, it's a fucking Wild West. And cyclists, because they're quiet and they feel that they could do what the fuck they want because they've been given carte blanche by our legal system to do what the fuck they want. They end up just being so annoying, and I've had too many close shaves with these motherfuckers. I know I'll be in danger of hitting you, but don't give me the opportunity by accident to hit you. Fucking be aware that I'm a bigger vehicle, I'm a car. I might not see you, and I could accidentally hit you. But cyclists don't think like that. They just think we immediately see them. They're so fucking annoying. I hate them.
Yeah,
and they don't stop at red lights either.
Just because you're a bicycle and you have the right of way doesn't mean you should take it because the car will win.
Yeah. I mean, look, again, falling back to Eastern Europeans, so they're accustomed to being on the left-hand side of a car, which in this country, if you're on a motorbike, that's classified as undertaking, or they're using the bloody cycle lanes, which is against the law. You're not allowed to do that. They just drive on the cycle lanes on their motorbikes, and then was on the left. And I've had countless arguments. Like I keep bibbing people. I said, listen, dumb fuck, you're not allowed to undertake me on the left. I mean, this is why last week at the time I had the argument because somebody got killed on a bike on a road because they went to undertake on the left-hand side. Remember, we drive on the left. Okay, car turns in, crush the guy to death. Okay, because he's not meant to be there. You're meant to be on you're meant to be on the driver's side so the driver can see you, and you're meant to overtake into the opposite lane back in. You can't undertake. It's just not allowed. But they're so accustomed to driving on the right that's their default position. And like Zam says, they're not taking tests over here and all that. And that's just what they're accustomed to. And they get hit all the time.
And they're weaving and everything.
Yeah, they're weaving in and out. They're a fucking nuisance, an absolute nuisance.
That's
and
why
so many of them are getting run over here.
As a pedestrian, you should always look both ways. Because I was almost hit twice in your country because I looked the wrong way before crossing. Both times, a guy saved me, different guys each time, grabbed me and pulled me back. So it was great that someone was there.
Yeah, you have to be careful.
I just want to answer Rick B's question here. I'll show you what car I have. I probably won't have it for long because my license is about to expire. I have renewed it, by the way. But this is my baby right here. But it's in black. Volkswagen ID4 Pro as well. Yeah, I love it. It's a great car. Fully electric.
Right. But I wouldn't disagree with what you just said and what you just said. The most annoying people on the roads are cyclists or motorbikes. It's those people who are on flaming electronic bikes. You know, those flaming...
they're fucking
knobheads. Right? The amount of times they flaming weave in and out of traffic. And because they're on flaming these electronic bikes that flaming go, like, decently there. And they can't fucking stop them properly. And then...
Well, I didn't mention them because they're in my area, they use the cycle lane. So they're not in the way over here. But, yeah, I get what you mean if they're in your way. Yeah.
I see them now. They're annoying too, and these dickheads are like some cyclists as well. They during the winter months, they'll wear black like they're bloody ninjas. You know what I mean? And you can't see shit. Especially when it's like it's 5 o'clock at night. It's pitch black. It's the rush hour. It's pissing down with rain. My car's full of condensation, and I've got to keep an eye on everything and everybody. All the droplets of water on my windscreen are creating more reflective light because of from everything.
Yeah, and it hides people in the black. And so one of the laws I would definitely have in this country is that anyone on two wheels has to wear high visibility jackets.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, coach drivers have to wear high visibility jackets. How the fuck do bikers not have to?
The only
when
thing
we was
is that
driving the bus at work, we had to wear a high vis jacket because when we're picking up and dropping off students, we have to be visible to the other drivers. So the fact that bikers and cyclists aren't required to, it just adds to the danger. And it should be an absolute law to say, don't care where you're going, you've got to have high vis on. You can't be out in black. It's ridiculous.
Go on, Chris.
Thanks. I used to drive motorcycle. I didn't wear a high vis jacket like the orange one, but my black leathers had this tape on it that was
Reflective tape, yeah.
Yeah, so you could see me. But what I was going to talk about was motorcycles. My beef was with car drivers. When you're driving a motorcycle, you're supposed to treat me like a car, like I have the width and depth of a car. So in a lane, we drive on the right side here. You don't drive down the center of the lane as a motorcyclist. You drive just to the left of the center. It's a guarding move. But I would have cars pass me all the time in my lane, in my own friggin' lane. And
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Why aren't people forced to take these tests and pass them at a higher grade? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand either. But again, I mean, your country compared to ours, it's hard to understand why your laws are so different. But I'll say this. Where's the comment? I'm sorry. Before I mentioned that comment, I wanted to comment on you, Sleeping Beauty, because I agree with you regarding the high vis, but that unfortunately, because of Boris bikes, that law will never come into the equation, because if people have to wear visibility jackets, then no one will be riding the Boris. Nobody will be riding.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
Bikes.
I mean, those bikes should be high vis instead of being.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
What's
have the bikes as high vis?
What's a Boris bike?
The public
like the line bikes where you could just rent them out and ride around town and all that. But those bikes need to be.
Yeah, the whole scheme of the bikes need to be fully reflective. Every element of it. So so
in that way you can cut back on that, and even that is like, even if you do that with your own bike, for example, like you have reflective at the front and the back where we can see you, I'll be okay with that. Just so we can see you. Zam, you hit the nail on the head. When it rains, and it rains a lot in this fucking country, if you're wearing black, I can't see you. Even pedestrians can't fucking see you. Okay? Windscreen wipers are on, the light shining from the opposite completely obscures you. And so, definitely. Christine.
I only saw this once, and I was going to do it, but I sold my bike. There was a motorcycle. It was the brake light, and it was brilliant. It obviously wasn't going on as if the guy was braking, and it would just twitch a bit. The light, not off all the way, not on all the way, but twitch enough that it drew your attention in. So you're like, oh, there's someone there. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so cyclists, their lights twitching all the time as well. They have a light that's twitching, but it's not enough. It really is not enough. Like, because it depends on the level of your car as well. Like, my car's low, so I can see that. But there are so many 4x4s in this fucking city, which I don't know why we have or allow them. It's ridiculous. All
Those
right.
potholes are getting big, man.
And I don't give a shit. Okay, they're mostly driven by women who don't know how to drive them. All right. They don't know how to park them. They're too big. They take up all the space. They block the fucking roads. They cause all the traffic during rush hour. All right. And they can't see the fucking cyclists.
Yeah.
So that's why you need the high vis.
They think because, just one quick thing, they think because they can afford them that they can drive them. That's not true, ladies. I got to pee.
Yeah. Exactly. Hang on, guys. Hang on, guys.
I see those giant 4x4s all coming together on the school runs. Like, like you got mum, or you got mum or your dad in this giant, Carrera or whatever, coming along. They've got the tiny ass kids. You wonder if they get lost in the bloody back of that car. It's so effing big. And they're all like, because like where the schools are situated, there's only so many places you can pull in. if you want to get really close to your school, and then you got to play catch and mouse with the bloody traffic wardens as well, you know, and all of that shit. And I've done the school run myself, but I've had to take kids to school, other people's kids to school, and don't ask about my Zam's undercarriage. Yeah, well, yeah.
That'll be on his other fans later.
Gaz, before I.
I was going to say, like, because I mean, I was going to say talk about the school run things. Isn't it there just for so that they can do like school runs with their kids and their mates, so they've got like a bundled vehicle for it? I mean, again, I don't know the.
Well, no, I mean, most of them just buy them just because they like them. You know, what I mean, it's not. We're not dealing with middle class mums here and who are like, it's about safety. We're dealing with people that want it as a status symbol, okay? And they can't drive them for shit. And I always argue with them. I can say, why the fuck do you have such a big car if you can't fucking drive it? Get a small car. You know, if everyone has a small car in this fucking country, then your kids are going to be just as safe. But people like you are the ones, and they're the ones that cause the accidents.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are turning in and running over the fucking bikers because they're not paying attention.
Gaz, you're right. Originally, they were designed for that. But like Ginger says, the vast majority now are just status vehicles.
Yeah.
And it's one passenger. It's not a family anymore. It's some rich bitch getting her mani-pedi done, and she's late for her appointment. Can't drive it to begin with. Ends up hitting people.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, over here it's like mainly, you know, families that have them and all of that. But again, even if you don't, they're not necessary in the city. They take up too much space. They're completely bloody pointless, and nobody can fucking drive them. They can't drive them. Like, honestly, like I used to love, one of my old favorite hobbies was just driving around in my car. Get in my car, just go for nice drives, go to places, all that. It's now become my most loathed thing in the world. Like, I literally get so stressed having to think about driving in this country because I'm always stuck behind some stupid cunt doing only 20 miles an hour. I'm stuck behind some stupid cunt at the lights who's on their fucking phone, taking forever to leave. Like, my horn is always going. I don't have the fucking patience. I'm not a crazy driver, okay? And I fully respect people going slow around schools or during this during the school rush hour and things like that. I'm 100% behind that. But every fucking day, I'm stuck behind some arsehole who can't drive, who's too fucking slow, doing 20 and a 40 and all this. And it's like, I've had enough. I've fucking had enough of it. It really pisses me off. And we constantly attack cars in this country. And when you're disabled and you need your fucking car, it's just not worth the bloody stress. You know, I go abroad to other countries. It's like lovely. Open roads and fucking lapse laws and all this. Of course, they have a higher death rate, but, you know, that's beside the point.
Ginger, I don't think you're crazy to want people to use common sense and drive correctly. That's not crazy.
Yeah. So, Ginger, what car do you drive? You don't remember me asking.
Oh, just a Honda Jazz. It's like, it's nearly 20 years old. But, you know, it's never, it looks like shit, but the engine runs like a kitten. You know what I mean? I've never, you know, the worst issue I've had with it is having to just change the gears, the gearbox. That's it.
Those are my birds, guy from Twitter. Sorry, 1 second. Zam, why is my name not coming up? There we go. Zam, sad news. Quantum Leap was cancelled by NBC. And you know what?
Lovely.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I was so gutted. Season 2 was absolutely fantastic. The way they ended season 2, and season 3 looked like it would have been really cool having two quantum leapers together who are also a couple. I thought, yeah, this is going to be really cool, but the problem was the problem with certain shows like this, and even Invincible, which I did a review of, was that they space out the shows. They like you don't have consecutive episodes every week. They'll like do 3 or 4 episodes, boom, 1 month break, and then we'll come back 3 or 4 more episodes, then boom, 2-week break. Like, it's not good. It's not good at all. So
you need consistency, I think.
Yeah, that was my issue with by the way, with Invincible. I don't know. By the way, my review for Invincible is currently on our channel on both TikTok and YouTube. Egg's doing really well on TikTok, by the way. He got almost 800 views on TikTok, and my issue with that show was I thought it was absolutely excellent, but you can't be putting a 3-month break, mid-season when there's only 8 goddamn episodes. It makes no sense. It's just so stupid.
Speaking of consistency, can you leave those comments up a little longer so I can read them?
Sorry,
please?
I keep forgetting. Dark Cheeto bird screaming is making me laugh. It's not Dark Cheeto. It's my birds, my big, fat, beautiful, round, juicy, plump birds. Yes.
But but saying that though, these 2 young fellas live in London, and they've got the Fabian congestion charge to Fabian do that, and I think there's other charges that have come in recently as well. But saying that though, where they live is not as bad as bloody Oxford, which hates the car with a Fabian passion, has a one-way system from hell, and you would have to pay me to go through it.
I was in Oxford on Monday, by the way. Funny enough, those one ways. I'm thinking to myself, thank God it's after 6:30, because I think to myself, damn, if I was here before 6:30, I'd probably get a parking ticket or a ticket of some sort. But there's no way I would be able to maneuver myself in the area I'm not familiar with, at all, with all these restrictions. Amazing city, but the restrictions is ridiculous.
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
We have
That's
a
the other
couple
thing
cities.
that gets on my nerves in this country as well. It's this constant, like, the inconsistencies from one borough to another in terms of the driving laws and restrictions and all this kind of shit. And it's a nightmare. And the thing is, like, what annoys me, like, as well, and this is where I clash a lot with centrists, because they do my fucking nutting, because these people are intelligent but stupid. All right, and I keep saying to them, okay, because they're like, car, they see cars as like this thing, this phallic symbol that's coming in to violate your lungs or whatever, and all this kind of shit. And I'm like, okay, look, I understand. I don't like all the cars on the road as well. All right, in a nice society, in a decent society, okay, we wouldn't need the cars as much as we do. But the problem is, there are so many fucking factors. One of which being you centrist cunts that are going into areas, gentrifying them, forcing up the prices of the housing, forcing those people to move out because they can't afford the rent in the area, but they still work there, so they have to get in. They can't get in by train because nobody can afford the fucking trains, and the buses, there's too many buses that you're going to need to take to get back into that fucking area. So you can't have it all your ways. You can't have it all your fucking way where you want a gentrifying area, make it all lovely-dovey. People can't afford that, but the people that you need to fucking service you stupid lazy cunt, now fucking live 20 miles away. So, in an ideal society, you devalue the housing market so people can afford to live wherever the fuck they want. You make public transport ridiculously affordable, okay? And then people won't need the cars, because then once everything's affordable, you can start to get rid of this mentality of having to need a car in the city. But it's still cheaper to run a car than it is to use public transport in this country, and that is indicative of Thatcherism and everything wrong with this country. And these stupid liberal fuckwits don't understand that. They don't understand that because they don't understand about public ownership either. Okay, this is why they're idiots, because they are fiscally, they are still very right wing. They don't realize it.
Dude,
and so
I didn't.
You can't have one without the other, and so their solution to everything is fines and restrictions and fines and restrictions, and it only penalizes the poor people because, number one, they're not going to understand all the rules and the regulations. They just want to get to their fucking job so that they can pay for their overpriced fucking rent. And you're putting in all these restrictions. It's like breaking someone's leg and then fining them, okay, for walking on one leg. That's the kind of mentality we have in this country.
Or
Every
using a
solution
crutch.
in this country punishes working class and poor. It doesn't fucking punish the rich. And if they did parking tickets and parking penalizations, whatever, okay, means tested like they do in the Scandinavian countries, oh, you'd see a lot of fucking laws change. But a parking ticket or a fine through driving through a road to somebody who's well off is nothing. It's a drop in the ocean. Like, yeah, I could take that £60 hit, not a problem. But to somebody poor, that fucks up their whole life. Last year, like we weren't fisted enough with my car fees and my car insurance going up. Okay, there was, you know, my mum's not, you know, she's older, so she's just driving through these LTNs, not realizing what the fuck they are. 2 of those, there's 150 quid gone. Our budget completely decimated. I literally had zero money in my account by the end of January because we got fucked by the system, and it's expensive being poor. And this is the kind of shit I rally against. I'm like, it should always be means tested. If you're poor, you should not receive fines. Okay, you get 3 warnings, and if you violate the 3rd warning, because there'll be piss takers, then you get a fine. But other than that, they should just get warnings, because it's becoming ridiculous, and the wrong people are punished, and there's no proper solutions like we used to have.
The difference a good subway bus system gives you, like the one I was accustomed to when I lived in Toronto, meant I didn't get my first car until I was 30 because I didn't need it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And could you afford to travel on public transport?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
I mean, and it didn't matter if you got on the bus. What the fuck is that noise?
Sorry. I got a message. I apologize.
Oh, I thought it was coming around here. I was like, where's that coming
put
from?
your phone on silent and put your birds on silent as well.
I could get on the TTC, which was the Toronto Transit System, and pay like $1.50 and go anywhere, anywhere in the city. I didn't have to pay by zone.
Yeah.
Just anywhere I wanted.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that fucks me off for this country. Well, in London anyway, the tubes are having zones. Like, again, that's just another way to fleece you of your fucking money. It's pathetic. They should just be, hang on. I disagree. I think everyone should get fined, or if they don't have the funds, there can be community. Fuck off, you fascist. Community service for a parking violation. Are you mental? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mate, I'll be doing community service for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Oh, you parked in an area where you're not allowed to park. Well, I'll tell you what, go clean the shit out the street.
Yeah.
Do you know how much they've abused that fucking system? And where are people gonna have the fucking time? Where are people gonna have the fucking time to do community service? They're working 20 hours a week to afford a fucking rent that they can't afford.
Or 2 jobs.
I completely disagree. It should be means tested. If you can't afford it, then you get 3 strikes, and then you get a fine. Because at least the warning is there to say, look, your next one, you're going to get fined £65. Now, that's going to fuck your whole life, so be warned. You know, but if you're rich, fucking not only should you get fined, you should get fined like £650. Get fisted proper, so it does a dent in your car. Because there are people that go into, say, central London, or like Knightsbridge and all this kind of shit, and they just park outside, park on the streets, they block the streets, single yellows, double yellow lines, they don't give a shit. They only get a £65 fine. If you're rich, that's like paying 65p. It's nothing.
Not even that.
0.6p. It's nothing. It's a drop in the ocean. So they do that, and they take the piss because it doesn't affect them financially.
I love your idea.
No, absolutely not. No.
What?
I'm just talking with milk toast. Not fair across the board, mate. No.
I really love your idea, Ginger, about it rating for income. And all you have to do is, yes, the first 3 are warnings, but if you do it a 4th time, they're no longer warnings. Could be another way. Like, you've racked this up so long as you don't do a 4th.
After the 3rd, it's fines. Every time it's fines. For 6 months to a year, it's fines, because you're going to get people that take the piss. And the same with the rich, it should go up incrementally as well. They don't get warnings, they get fined straight away, and they get high fines and that goes up incrementally. Okay, they do this in Scandinavian countries. It doesn't go up incrementally, but there was a story of a billionaire who got a speeding ticket, and that speeding ticket was £130,000. All right, that's what I'm talking
Well,
about. Because then
yeah.
you see laws change in this country, and they will be fairer, Cheeto, to people. But because they love punishing the poor, they know this. They're sadistic assholes. They know that you know, people who have to work their bollocks off have less political sway, you know, are less politically engaged. This is why they keep getting fucked in the ass all the bloody time. All right. But if you level up and play things fairly and put everything means tested, oh, honey, suddenly those parking restrictions are gone. Suddenly those LTNs are gone. Suddenly you could drive a little bit faster because the rich ain't going to want to fucking pay £100,000 for their speeding ticket.
Yeah. There's a famous judge in the States. He does a lot of YouTube channel. They put him up on YouTube a lot, and he's famous. He will start talking to the defendant, ask them, how did you get your fine? Or he does tickets. Or why were you there? Why did you go through the red light? And they will tell him why and how. And then he'll go, you know what? Dismissed. Because he hears why they had to do it. He hears how much they make.
Yeah.
Well, one guy was like, I was going to my third interview that day for a job, and I was going to be late. He's like, dismissed. And one time, this guy walked just to get to court so he wouldn't miss his court date. I think it was like a 2-hour walk. The judge found out, dismissed his case, and then gave him money for a cab home. What a great judge.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Misery, but at least you help them along the way. You know.
I mean, the thing is that here, in Manchester, we've brought in this thing called the B Network, right? So basically, it's buses. Now, it was supposed to make things more streamlined and effective and stuff like that. It hasn't worked. All it's done is just painted these buses yellow with the B symbol on it and made it that they're a bit cheaper. And that's it.
That's the centrist solution. Andy Burnham. Fucking typical
Andy Burnham's a good man. I mean, I'm not going to suck the guy up because
he's not the worst of the bunch. Yeah, but again, centrist solution. Yeah.
And it's Manchester after all, so.
How much is a bus in Manchester? Because like London is the cheapest place to catch a bus.
£2 to get from my house to town.
See, that is ridiculous. £2 is it? That's a lot of fucking money.
That's like $12 for a round trip for me.
Yeah, how many buses do you need?
No, I'm just saying, like if I went into town and back in your country, that would equal about $12 Canadian. I can't tell you what it costs because I don't live in Toronto anymore, but if I were to guess, it's probably half of that for a round trip.
Yeah. Yeah, see, outside of London, people pay. I remember back in 1999 when I was staying at my friend's up in Durham, and to go from his village in West Rayton into Durham, it was £5. It was return, but it was £5. I was like, I said to the bus driver, I go, mate, I can go from my house in North London all the way to Central London for, at the time, 65p. And even then, that was expensive because, you know, we're students and shit. And people up outside of London are paying extortionate rates. And this is why you can't be fucking then turning around. Because I could talk London, but outside of London, people are paying way more for public transport. All right? And it's even worse. How the fuck are they not going to afford their car? They need their cars. And so, yeah, it's just...
If I was to get like a monthly ticket on the bus, let's say I was getting a monthly ticket, it probably cost me about 20 odd quid. Maybe a bit. No, 50 quid. No, 50 quid, I think it is. 30 quid for a monthly ticket for the bus. For the entire month.
50 quid. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
so-
that's cheaper than London because that's 90 quid in London.
Yeah, but that $12 I was talking about, if I like a weekly budget, if you mash up all your money together, this is what it would work out for me. That would equal about 4 meals. So that's not just cutting into, meaning they have to have a car, but that's cutting into your meal allowance too, like
Yeah,
how much your budget.
exactly. It all counts. So what happens if the guy going to his third interview runs a light because they have 2 more strikes and they kill and hit somebody? Well, no, Jesus, you're so dumb. Okay, if you do something bad, and I'm not talking speeding here. Okay, speeding is different. All right, I'm talking parking violations or driving through restricted areas and things like that. You know, with speeding, it all depends. But if you cause, and I'm on the other side of this as well, if you cause death by dangerous driving, you should be punished greater for it, because in this country, we're way too soft. Like, we've had people that drunk drive, mount pavements, fucking plow into kids, kill a load of fucking kids, all right, and they're given a 4 months for manslaughter, and they only get a 3-year ban on their license. I'm like, motherfucker, if you drunk drive, I don't care what poverty spectrum you're on, if you drunk drive, instant ban on your license. Okay, simple as that. You're not allowed to fucking drive again. It's a gross violation. All right, and it just shouldn't be doing. You've made that decision, and there should be severe consequences for drunk driving. For speeding, if you're going at fucking stupid miles an hour, then that should also be taken into consideration. If you're going 5 or 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, okay, fine. But if you hit somebody, fuck you. You know what I mean? You deserve the consequences for it.
I want to defend what I said earlier about that judge. There's video evidence. The speed limits weren't outrageous. Like, when that one guy that I did see him, he went through a red light. It had just turned red. There were no cars. He'd obviously checked and snuck through. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't being irrational or reckless.
Yeah. So laws and fines are preventative, but they're not, though. So again, here's the other thing. Okay, there is no correlation between reduction in people's stupid behavior in comparison to the fines.
Yep.
It is mainly used as a revenue raising tool.
Just like the death penalty.
You don't tax the rich. You privatize everything, meaning there's not enough tax going into the system because all the profits are being kept or squirreled away. And so you need to find ways to fine people. Things were ticking along nicely. And then all of a sudden, we started fining people for silly little things. It's like, it's ridiculous. It is purely cynical revenue raising. It's a shadow tax on the poor. And this is evidence because it's not means tested. Like I told you, Cheeto, if it was means tested, so even if you don't have the 3-strike policy, that's fine. But let's say you find somebody 20 quid who are on a lower income, all right, that's fine. That's not going to, it's still a hit, but it's not going to destroy them. But if you hit a rich person with a £20,000 fine, say, hey, look, you know, you can flaunt society's rules, you're going to have to pay for it. Just like the poor have to pay for it just for living and existing. All right, you'll see changes. I'm just saying. I know how this shit works. Gaz.
Yeah, I disagree with you about the drunk driving thing. I think that sometimes there could be exceptions. Let's say, for example, if you're just slightly over, or if you've got, like, let's say, a medical condition you're unaware of. Like, there are certain medical conditions that keep alcohol in your system a little bit more faster. But if it's a willful action, like you're just saying, yeah, I totally agree with you.
I get where you're coming from, but I have a 0 drink policy if you're driving. 0 drink. I never touch a sip of alcohol when I drive.
And those medical
it's one of those. Sorry, Christine.
That's okay.
One of those is for the very reason you highlighted. You could be on medication. You could have a certain condition, and alcohol affects people differently. Yes. There are people, you know, as morbid as this sounds, my uncle was better drunk than he was sober when driving, because when he was drunk, he was more careful. So he didn't get pulled over and all this kind of stuff. Though once when he did get pulled over, just gave a cop 50 euros because this was in Greece, and the cop just drove off. But okay, I can't use that as anecdotal evidence to say, hey, well, some people, you know, because all the evidence is to the contrary. But the point is, if you're going to drive, you shouldn't need to drink. Like, this people's need with alcohol, I'll never fucking understand it anyway. And if you're driving, just don't drink.
No.
Just don't drink. If you drink, leave your fucking car there.
Yeah, like for example, if I'm driving, I don't touch a drop, but that's a personal decision. What I'm saying is, if let's say, for example, you're out with mates, but you said, all right, I'll have a couple of glasses of wine. Now that wine could be a lot stronger than you initially planned. That's what I'm saying.
Boss man, if you go out with your mates and you know you're driving, you have to be responsible enough not to drink.
Yeah.
It ends there, boss man. It ends there. If you know you're
Pressure.
driving and then you're going to decide to go out, if you're too stupid to realize that you shouldn't be driving in the first place, there is no limit. Don't take the chance. I am driving. I've been designated driver more times than I can remember. Never had a drop of fucking alcohol. Never will.
So sorry. That's the other thing as well. Because I ended up because I got so fed up of using public transport in this country. I've never been a fan of like drinking. So I was like, I'll just fucking drive to these places because after 7:30 you can fucking park anywhere. So I drive to these places. Well, I made it sure that even if people offered me alcohol, I'm like, well, no, fucker, because I'm driving you home. So if I get into an accident, I'm responsible for the people that I've just hurt or killed because I chose to have a drink. So even double that, I'm not fucking drinking at all.
It's so selfish, especially in today's society. We've got Uber, we've got Lyft, and even before then, you're going to the bar. You know you will be drinking. You do not drive to that bar. You take your feet there by walking. You take a bus there, or you get a lift from a sober driver. There's no excuse anymore. And as for these medical conditions, if you are in an accident and it's something to do with medical condition that is causing you to have alcohol produced in your blood, they can prove that in court and you're not going to suffer. So anyway, I'll be
Gary,
right back.
you were showing your northernness with wanting to drink and drive there.
No. I'm
northern alcoholic.
No, but I don't. If I'm driving, I don't take a drop. But I'm just saying that there are some people who, unfortunately, I'm not saying me, but who unfortunately will say, I'll have a glass of wine with my steak or whatever it is when they're going for dinner.
Unfortunately, I have to say that if you're driving, no alcohol allowed.
No, I personally don't.
Zero.
That's my personal.
If they're that way inclined, they're fucking idiots. If they know they're driving and they have to have a glass of wine with their steak, then you know what? Maybe this time around, have a glass of water, a glass of Coca-Cola, a glass of Fanta, whatever it may be. Just something, alcohol-free beer. You know what I mean? Do that, but don't. Why bother? It's just it makes no sense whatsoever. We think I was a pro drunk driver for 20 years, better than sober. Jesus, TLD.
Good times. I'll tell you what, a funny one. I've answered that one already. I said you can have my ginger nuts in the back of the van.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. All right. Well, look. Now, because let's have a bit of moment of levity here, because of the craziness of Milk Toast Gaming and TLD being pro alcohol. I think it's time for this.
Stupid American cunt.
It's so bad, it's good.
And we can stop these clips whenever we want. But I just found a lovely clip of American fails. American people being American, basically Florida man in every state of the country. So let's just check it out and enjoy it. And whenever you guys have had enough, it's under 7 minutes, but whenever you guys had enough, let me know.
Oh,
that looks like it hurts.
You don't say.
I hope we can play these with Fail Army. You never know with these fucking pricks.
Oh!
He just corpsed.
Full home video should be all right.
Yeah.
Radical, dude. That looks pretty cool.
I've seen this one.
Oh.
You guys say Colorado.
You're so bad at line.
Lovely.
Do it.
Deserved it, mate. Deserved it.
Dude, hold my beer.
He's got air
That guy's giving me
conditioner.
35th century. Look at that.
Here we go. Relative of yours, Ginger.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
It's me when I dyed my
Setup.
beard.
This
The
is a
hair.
setup.
Yeah, but still funny. I mean, the camera's there. Like, what else would it be doing?
How's
that's
that?
a
Oh, the
great
dog.
dog.
Oh.
What dog? It's your fucking dog.
Good practice shots.
Hey, I applaud the effort.
Hang on, let me pull you through.
Why?
Why?
Just why?
Why?
Stupid is.
Why?
Okay, there was so much.
Oh, you're not going under that bridge. Well done, he got under it. He got under it.
He made it. He made it.
Tin foil
tin
roof.
fucking-
Like a can opener.
Scrummage, huh? Oh, that's gonna be painful. Oh.
No one stopped to help their guys up. What a team.
Yeah.
Oh, we go. You're done. You're done.
Bye, Felicia.
Absolutely.
Put it away. Put the camera away.
Put that away. Absolutely not.
Oh, right.
Oh.
You can't perk there, lady.
And
Yeah.
goodbye, expensive camera.
Was it worth the shot?
Nope.
What the hell?
I wouldn't call that a fail. One night stacked at the end, but it's still impressive.
Oh, snap. Oh.
Ooh.
That's a classic.
Oh.
Oh, the spikes coming out. That's. Oh, your phone's gone.
Oh no!
Oh,
Goodbye, phone. A relic for the
Painful.
Oh, they're the worst.
Oh.
Set up.
In your face. Yeah, I love it.
Break.
Something. Maybe the roof is going to fall off.
Is that bloody pipe?
What do you think was going to happen?
I don't know. I was impressed with that pipe. Oh, this is going to end well. Physics!
Oh, pain. Oh, well done.
Yep.
Yeah, go get that. Go get it.
Let it go, man.
Physics.
Yep.
Oh.
To be fair, she made it off that chair. I was expecting the chair to collapse.
Oh,
There goes those.
what the hell? How is this possible? Fake.
Yeah.
Oh, scrapes.
Lovely hair.
I swear he's pouring
And down it goes.
I swear he was pouring their drink in her mouth. Oh mate, this is not going to end up good. This is not going to end up good at all. Oh, he's stuck.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, he made it. Oh, I thought it was going to get stuck and we'll have to get a ladder out.
No fail there, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for holding the board up for me.
Physics.
Yeah, they're physics, right?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Right, look. Right, look, giggles.
Whoa!
Oh, Lord.
Done that loads.
Oh, automatic fishing. I like it. Oh, see you later.
Right.
You can just make those out
Oh, nearly.
of, you can make those out of sticks.
Oh, Lord.
That was
great.
That was fun, everyone. And that today was my
Stupid American cunt.
Those people. Can I tell you a trick I played on them when I was in Philadelphia?
Go on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You know that countries are also called states, right?
Yes.
Hence state secrets. We know that, right? But when you're in the United States of America, when you mention the word state, they're going to think my country only. We have states. They must be ours. So I would bet people a drink. You cannot name the state I'm from, and I'll give you 10 guesses. And of course, they're like
Is
West
that why
Virginia.
you got that drunk last Friday? Nice.
And Thursday night and Saturday night.
Nice. Love it.
You
Because
can
I'm
use
guessing
that.
they fucked up by sitting there going, Alberta. Yeah. Oh, look, just as I say, Alberta.
You mean Canada, like Canada,
Yeah.
the state of yeah. Alberta's
No.
a province, but I loved it. Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah. But that's why I'm guessing they would be saying things like, I don't even know your provinces. Is it Nova Scotia,
Ontario.
Alberta, Quebec?
Yeah.
Ontario's a city, though, isn't it? That's
No,
not a
no,
province.
it's a province.
Province.
Toronto is the city. Ontario
Yeah.
is the province.
Saskatchewan?
Yeah.
Is that a province? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there Victoria there? New Victoria? or
That's a
something?
city.
Oh, that's the city, right?
Guess
Yeah, that's
our
it.
guess our territories. Even I had some trouble because we just in my lifetime split one in half and renamed the other half. Nunavik, Northwest Territories, and the Yukon. So
Oh, okay. All right.
10 provinces, 3 territories.
Calgary here by Milk Toast. Is that a province, Calgary? Or is that a city?
Oh, that's a city.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's in Alberta.
Yes, it is in Alberta.
Canada has pregnancies. That's not fair to say. What? Canada has pregnancies. That's not fair to say you're not Canadian. What are you on about, dude?
I want to read this story to you. It's on the BBC. Speeding driver jailed for 11 years over death of twerking couple.
What?
A woman has
What
been
a
jailed for 11 years for killing a couple who had been standing up twerking in the back of her car moments before it crashed. This is a proper hardcore name here. I think it's Nigerian. Adelaide OG Aiden OG 23 had been drinking alcohol, driving at more than double the speed limit when a Mini Cooper convertible overturned in Battersea, South London. Rita Buetef 24 and Mary Marcia 23 were flung from the vehicle. They died at the scene, and the third passenger, Ben Sidby, was injured. Following a trial at the Old Bailey, student Ojiki Adon EG from Bromley was found guilty of 2 charges of causing death by dangerous driving and 1 of causing injury by dangerous driving. Judge Richard Mark Casey described her conduct as sheer madness, adding, especially the moment before the collision, your 2 passengers, to your knowledge, had been standing up dancing. He rejected the suggestion that someone in the back had tugged their arm, saying it's clear there was one reason and one reason only for the collision, namely the grossly excessive speed you are traveling. The court had heard how the defendant car was doing at least 62 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour zone. Well, that's basically asking for it. It's before it crap en route to Clapham to Ladbroke Grove early on the 16th of July 2022. Let me just find some more juicier parts of the story. But yeah, basically, these people were twerking. I mean, when you're the driver, you are fully responsible, which is why when I drive my car, I make sure everyone's got their fucking seatbelt on because I don't want to be fucking done.
Yeah.
You know, if
In
they don't
this
have their
case, it
belts
didn't
on.
matter because she was
Everyone
drunk
was
and
drunk.
speeding.
She was drunk and speeding. Obviously, she was drunk and speeding, but her friends are standing up in the back of her car twerking. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, after
they
the
must be-
drunk and speeding convertible,
Yeah, I mean,
it didn't
twerking thing
matter.
is not- it doesn't matter. The twerking thing is not the 11 times
No.
the drunk drive
No,
limit.
I agree. I agree, but it's just I've never heard anything like it. I've heard
Yeah.
people drinking driving. I've heard people
Yeah.
go over the speed limit. I've never heard people twerking in the back of the car. Like, what the fuck? That was a new one to me. Wait,
Yeah.
quiet, you guys.
No, you're right. It was an absurd but funny, not because of what happened, but the absurdity of the title. Yes.
Yeah, the
But-
absurdity of the title. I thought it because I thought initially the driver just ran into people that were twerking in the middle of the street.
Yeah,
That's
me
how
too.
I thought. I didn't realize they're in the fucking back of the car. I mean, 11 years, you know, it's just they should get a lifetime ban as well. And 11 years, you've essentially caused the death of your friends.
And
know.
it's 6.5 years. That's what each of their lives were worth, according to the justice
Not
system.
even 5.5 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
I can't do math. Math's
Yeah,
hard.
5.5 years, which falls into exactly the shit I talk about. You could smash into somebody and kill them, and you just, you know, nothing. I'm even surprised they got 11 years. That's good by our standards.
Wow.
Waste of a life.
2 lives.
Yeah, you waste of 2 lives. Yeah. Well,
Plus the
3 lives.
passenger that was injured.
They've lost their 2 friends. They're in jail now for 11 years, all for a fucking this. And this is what I mean. One night of just drinking and having fun, but you're driving, could end exactly like this, and that's your night ruined, and it's not worth it. And this
No, you're
was the
not.
argument.
It's your life. It's your life ruined.
Yeah, your life is ruined. And I say, like, this is what I'd say to my friends who'd say, "Oh, just have one drink. I'll just have this." I'm like,
no,
it's not that. If anything happens, it's not my life. I could drink and drive, get in a car for myself. That's fine. It's not fine. I'm just saying. But if I've got passengers, all right, I've killed them, all right, or I've killed somebody else that I've smashed into while drink driving. I've ruined their life. For what? For the sake of what? Being fucking peer pressure? No, thank you.
Or
I'd
the
rather be
taste.
nerd.
The taste of a scotch is not worth lives.
Yeah, but as I said, it's some people just have a wine to be social. But as I said,
Why? Like, if you know you're driving, why? It makes no sense.
I'm not saying that I do it. I'm not saying that I do.
No,
but you don't do it, Gaz. For fuck's sake, what you're saying?
But
People's
Gaz,
mentality when it comes to alcohol, it needs to like.
Yeah, like don't give them carte blanche, Gary. Don't give these people an out by saying, "Oh, you know what? They just want to have a one or two, and then they're cool." But no, Gary, you shouldn't even be giving these people an out. You shouldn't be understanding how they think. You shouldn't be giving them the benefit of the doubt. They're fucking idiots. Driving a car is a massive responsibility. It's life and death. Life and death, mate. Not just for you, but for the people on the street. Huge responsibility. And alcohol should. If you are unable to have a drink. And knowing that you're going to be driving, you shouldn't be fucking driving in the first place. You're totally irresponsible.
And that whole excuse, well, cabs are too expensive. Well, then the alcohol you bought was too expensive because if you can't do both, don't do either.
Right? We're talking about everything.
I agree here, Lost One. Drinking is poison. You know, worst drug of them all. Couldn't agree more. I'm not saying I got nothing against people doing it. I'm just saying this. Of all the drugs, it's literally the fucking worst one.
Okay, but isn't? I mean, again, I don't really know this, so maybe somebody lives on the continent consider it. But isn't like a glass of wine when you dinner what something to do in the continent? Well,
Are
It
you
doesn't
having
matter.
are you having your dinner at home or what? Because and are you driving? That's the whole point. In the day, if you're driving, and you shouldn't be driving. Is regardless of the cultural thing elements, you shouldn't. That shouldn't matter.
Sinners and whores, milk
Yeah.
toast.
So
So I'll
all
read
of
the
these things
comment.
are so
Saying
so
anyone who
irrelevant.
drinks is ungodly. Yes, they're worse than.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Ginger's become a Muslim.
I got
Yeah.
drunk on the weekend, but before that, I had 2 Christmases ago. I didn't even finish the glass of wine I had, and prior to that, it'd been a couple years even before that I wouldn't drink because, and I drank a lot in the army, but I didn't have to be social. I didn't have to drink to be social. I got to the point in my life where it's like, I don't need to drink just to be myself around people. And if I do, they're not the right people, dude. Get new friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, in me we trust. Nothing with a glass of wine at dinner or a few with friends, but it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's a slope worth not even going on, in my opinion. I want to change the subject now, fellas. It's in America and Canada and Mexico, there'll be an eclipse happening on Monday. Are you guys aware of this?
Yeah, I
No.
think that we might catch some of it in southern Ontario as well. I hope so.
Well,
Okay.
prepare to hold on to your anuses, ladies and gentlemen, because far right conspiracy theorist extraordinaire
Knew this
Alex
was gonna
Jones.
come,
Alex Jones has got something to say about it. So I'm going to start.
What's it going to be?
When was the last time you ever seen
The solar
anything?
eclipses from the lizardators who run the earth.
Rapture.
Look, there's some unusual words in this, so I'm going to try my best but I'm going to start from this particular paragraph where it talks about Jones. So this latest onslaught of misinformation began, as often does, with InfoWars host Alex Jones, who spent the past few weeks ranting on X about the upcoming eclipse. Last week, he posted a clip with the caption, "Major events surrounding April the 8th solar eclipse. Masonic rituals planned worldwide to usher in New World Order." The post, which has more than 3,000 retweets and 1 million views, illustrates how the trajectory of the most recent solar eclipse is viewable in the United States, as well as the trajectory of the upcoming eclipse from the Alpha and Tav, which, as anyone who was forced to go to Hebrew school instead of staying at home and using cheat codes to make your Sims woohoo naked knows, are the first and last letters in the Hebrew language, signaling the beginning and the end times. In another eclipse tweet, in another eclipse tweet posted on March 26th, which has 3.8 million views, Jones included a video of a man speculating that various Texas and Oklahoma counties had declared a state of emergency in order to usher in a billionaire-led New World Order. It is indeed true that a number of counties, including the Texas Travis County and Oklahoma McCurtain County, have issued disaster warnings prior to the eclipse, but it does not appear to be for nefarious reasons suggested by Jones. Rather, it appears to be for the intended purpose of the government to adopt public safety initiatives that protect people from harm. For instance, according to Travis County Declaration of Local Disaster, the county anticipates an influx of thousands of tourists to watch the eclipse, thereby leading to extreme traffic congestion and potential telephone service disruptions. Such conditions necessitates a declaration of state of emergency to ensure critical infrastructure protection and facilitating access to food, water, shelter in case the roads become overwhelmed per the language of the declaration. While this explanation sounds both highly rational and surprisingly efficient by county bureaucracy standards, it is not the one that has been accepted by the slew of mini Alex Joneses on TikTok, Instagram, and X. Many of them have also focused on NASA, a project based in the Wallops Island, Virginia, near Chicotega Island. I hope I said that right. To shoot rockets to the moon during the eclipse. Project APP is shorthand for astroperic perturbations around the eclipse path, but it also a reference to the snake god of darkness, supposedly the nemesis of the supposedly the nemesis of the sun god of Ra. Sun God Ra, sorry, ostensibly the title of the project, which is intended to measure changes in electric and magnetic field, is a clever reference to the ancient Egyptian mythology. So yeah, so Alex Jones doing what Alex Jones does, which is
Being a fucking idiot. Look, the most important part here, Christine, is this: the eclipse will bring doom to us all. The only moon I want to see is Ginger's. Yeah, goddamn right. That's beyond the solar eclipse. That's a universal eclipse.
Hey, Block, I'll be seeing it in July, so don't worry about it.
Disgusting.
The thing is, there's a lot of people in the States too that are claiming this is a sign of the rapture, and I would like to test their faith and say, if you believe you're going to heaven and this is the rapture, leave me all your shit, your house,
give me your
car.
money.
Like, if you truly believe, you won't need this stuff. Show me you're a believer.
I think this is to the point here. Eclipse happen quite often. They act like it's a new thing. Also, we can agree the damn liberals are responsible for earthquakes as well. Yeah, it's the gay agenda. The gay agenda, all the bum sex, is causing all these earthquakes. You know, Taiwan, what, last year, year before, they legalize gay marriage, and now look, earthquakes. It's all part of the woke agenda to stuff and things. You know what I mean?
Well,
especially things.
With this person with the name I can't pronounce it, I think it's like 70 years till next one. So enjoy. But no, it might be 70 years in certain parts of the world, but eclipses happen everywhere around the planet, or more regularly than people realize. But so like this eclipse will be seen in Canada, America, Mexico, but in our part of the world here in the UK, I don't know how much of the eclipse we'll even see. Would it be half an eclipse for us?
And it's just a sliver of Canada, just a tiny bit that we might see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in other parts of the world they have the eclipse, but we wouldn't notice it because in the other parts of the planet they might have ones in Australia and places like Papua New Guinea and the Philippines or whatever. You know, they've happened before. Remember, it wasn't too long ago when that dickhead Donald Trump, when he was president of the United States, he was looking at one. You know, he was standing at the White House looking at the eclipse, like the genius that he is. You know, so
there you go, Christine. He'll leave you his house, but you have to pay the mortgage.
I got one mortgage
for the next one in Ohio. Okay. Look, do you know what cracks me up? You know, people like him or right wingers in general, they're 1% away from understanding things, but they just go down this completely batshit. What did he say? He said that the solar eclipse will usher in a new world order where billionaires take over the world.
That's already
billionaires have taken over the world. There, right there, it's there, and it's happened. And we've just had reports like, you know, that have come in and you know, record corporate profits, fuck all to do with Biden and inflation and all this kind of shit. It's pure greed, because if you had to jack up your prices because you're suffering, you're not going to be recording record fucking profits. And this is just going to make people richer. And even the fucking standard liberal rag papers are saying, you know what? Having these billionaires get more richer is bad for democracy. It goes against democracy. I'm like, oh, now you get it. Now you get it. It's like Israel when 7 white people got bombed this week, and now there's outrage. Now they're like, well, you know what, Israel? I think it's time that you stop. It was all right when you were doing it to the brown people, but you killed our own. This is unacceptable.
Yeah, we covered
that. We actually said it like that. Yeah, 30,000, 40,000 Palestinians. You know, people are constantly saying how bad that is. Yeah, but yeah, the moment you kill some European people, yeah, we have or white people basically. Yeah, we have a problem with that. It might have only been 7, but 7 too many, and they are white. One day you might mistake me for being one of those people, and I wouldn't want you doing that. So yeah,
exactly, Gaz.
I saw something on TikTok today that you might find interesting, Ginger. Somebody posted like the prices, the cost of energy throughout Europe. So you had the UK and you had the rest of Europe of what they pay per year for their energy bills.
I already know. Like,
like for example, like the rest of Europe pays like 500 to like 600 euros or like around there. We pay £1,200 a year for our flavored energy compared
No,
to what
more
they
than that. It's 2,500. The cap has gone down, but we hit a peak. I know this because of where I work, but we hit a peak of £2,500 for the year compared to the rest of Europe that were paying, like literally. And the thing is, this government literally did nothing. The fucking people that run the utility companies are like, yes, you should have a windfall tax. Yes, you should tax us more on profits. And the government like, no, we don't want to do that because, profits and all this kind of shit. So we've been left to just basically rot in hell. And any solution that we've had, it just gives our tax money to the fucking billionaires. And this is what I keep complaining to people, especially liberals, okay, because they're supposed to be clever. I keep saying to them, capitalism is fucking expensive and it's in an inefficient system because we're still using our tax money. You lot complain that, I don't want my tax money going to all these benefit scroungers. I'm like, listen, hun, the biggest benefit scroungers in this fucking world are the rich.
I've never said those things as a liberal.
No, I'm not talking to you. You're a different liberal. You're a left wing. Okay,
Oh.
liberals. So you need to understand. So one thing, so over there, liberals are centrists. Okay, in America, they try to view them as different, but liberals are centrists. Progressives are what you would call center left, and then you've got social democratic and all this kind of stuff. But in the UK, basically, a liberal is a centrist, and they're just basically useless.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, and now I've lost my trail of thought. Oh no, that's so I was just saying, like you're complaining about people getting their benefits, like money and all this. You don't want your money going to there, but I said, look, the rich are the biggest welfare queens on the planet. Not only do they get tax breaks, but the ones that own our public institutions get subsidies and they get kickbacks and they get our tax money to kind of plug any holes that they are having. So let's, people need to realize that. I'm just saying.
Look at the banks and bailing out the banks. I mean, that's very obvious. And I don't understand. The UK has such beautiful, you have beautiful shorelines, but you have areas that are so secluded that you could put up wind farms just out on the shore that would create massive amounts of energy.
Oh, well, here's the other thing. And this is what makes me want to storm the offices and just beat these people up, all right? They boast that all the energy, our electricity in this country now is coming from pretty much renewable energy. Well, why the fuck is my electricity more than my gas? That makes no fucking sense. It should be free and have a maintenance bill, for example, because obviously it costs to kind of keep these wind farms and shit active and repairs and all this kind of shit. But you're telling me that doesn't matter. And again, this is where I get fucked off with liberals, because they want all this lovely yah green stuff, but they don't want the socialist solution to it, which is say, okay, once we get 100% renewable energy, that bill is now null and void. You're not paying for your electricity anymore. All right, you're paying a maintenance fee, and that should be capped at like £100 for the year. Always, no matter what, capped. It's the government's responsibility, okay, who take my fucking tax money anyway, to maintain that. All right, this is why, and right wingers will sit there and go, well, look, we're using renewable energy, and yet these countries still have expensive bills. But yeah, because we got renewable energy in a capitalist society, and so people are still profiting from that, and they're profiting even more because it's costing them less to just suck the money out of, suck the energy out of the fucking nature. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like 80% of the money that we give to energy companies goes into dividends and favouring the shareholders. They don't go back to the consumer. They don't go, like, if they were going into, let's say, building infrastructure, building like water dams, building into solar panels, but rebuilding, like repopulating, deforested areas. That I could understand and actually support. But he doesn't. He goes into rich people profits, which I start to lose my shit about.
This is it. We don't see any of that money. You know, and this is where I get angry. So, like, when we brought in like the winter fuel allowance and
that's complete scam.
All this kind of shit, it's like, yeah, it's great, it's money for us, but that's my tax money, and that's just going straight into the pockets of the rich. Instead of just turn around and say to them, tough, bring your bills down, reduce them, tough shit, your profits take a hit. But it's like, of course we're not going to do that. Thanks to Elon Musk's SpaceX technology, they are planning on building giant solar panel. Listen, mate, everything that comes out of Elon Musk's mouth is anus, all right? He was talking about years ago. This is when I like food, and I thought, oh, you're going to have these giant factories in the house with the solar roofs and all this kind of shit. I thought, what a great idea. Complete load of bollocks, couldn't do it. So you seriously think that a guy who couldn't build a giant battery for your home with solar roofing is going to fucking launch solar panels out in space? Please, come on. Rick, you need to learn, Rick, that Elon is a thick cunt. And he says a lot of things, and he fails at a lot of things. He's a fucking idiot. I believe it when I see it. Yeah, exactly. See, and this is like, this guy was a Musk fanboy. You know, he talks out of his ass. He's not going to deliver shit. He talks a lot of this. And yes.
I was just going to tell you about our hydro. And I just realized while I was in the ladies' room that I was like, oh, I'm going to tell them about last year when I got a rebate because, you know, I have a very low net income. They basically cut my monthly bill down to $10. And I thought, oh, isn't that great? And then I realized it's not the company that's paying that. It's my other taxpayers. And I fucking don't like that at all.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's like, the Green Bill people can't explain how electricity is made or how batteries are disposed of. They can't explain how many different plastics are recyclable. Well, again, this is the other thing. So, like, nobody here would argue except for, like, billionaire fucking oil barons would say that, yeah, we do want the greener options and all this kind of shit. But the problem with going down the greener options is we're still taking the capitalist approach with it. And we are exploiting and destroying countries. And the biggest, the most beautiful prime example of this is Rick B's favorite human on the planet, Elon Musk, who openly stated in the news, yeah, we should be allowed to do a coup in Bolivia so we can get their the lithium to make our batteries. You know, why should they have control of it? You know. So if Musk himself is openly telling you that, yes, we should coup and take over people's natural resources for personal corporate profit, that tells you everything you need to know about the green scam. Because green renewable technology is all well and good, but when you're approaching it with the capitalist eyes, someone, somewhere is still getting exploited. Countries are still being destroyed. Congo is another prime example. And yeah, Christine.
I'm really worried because we have one of the, if not largest, freshwater reserves in Canada, especially Ontario. We're overrunning with clean water here. There's still places I can go drink right from the source. And I remember a broadcaster on the news years ago, I think it was still like a teen, and it was brought up in the news that, you know, the United States is running out of sources for clean water. And she's like, oh, but we're okay. We have clean water. And I'm thinking, yeah, bitch, the Americans will want that shit. And they'll come get it if they want it.
Well, this is it. Exactly. Exactly.
And I was a teenager. I knew that.
Yeah. They'll start fucking, you know, when it comes to the water wars, they're going to invade countries for water. Rick, no government signed up to the Green Bill because there was a huge influx of money from oil barons to kind of crush that bill. And one of our very own prime minister was one of the people that wanted that bill crushed. Why? Because he got a shitload. Well, his wife's company, Infosys, got a fuckload of contracts from BP. And now all of a sudden, all our green policies are going out the window. So, you know, again, this is billionaires controlling the world. Short game profits. We're going to destroy the world for short game profits. Fantastic. Gaz.
But shouldn't that be illegal, though, that you're basically doing you're basically pushing policies based upon things that are directly going to affect you. Isn't that
Supposed
kind
to
of
be,
like,
yeah, but you know, we live in Thatcherite Britain, mate. It's all legalized, you know. It's all legalized. No prime minister in our history has gotten as Rishi Sunak is, and he's only been in charge for like just over a year, and he's gotten disgustingly rich as a result of it, because of that. Yeah, all the deals that he's been doing with India, with everything for Infosys. Infosys has become one of the most wealthiest companies in this fucking country, thanks to Sunak. And so, yeah, they're going to kill off any green bills, you know.
And of course, it should be illegal. But those same governments that squash those bills will put other bills forward to make it impossible for you to even protest,
Yeah,
let alone
exactly.
change those bills.
Exactly. Uh-oh, Christine. Daniel Vance, Christine is onto our invasion plan. Careful, they're coming for you. Speaks into collar. Abort.
All right, so time to
Okay,
like.
we'll just go
to-
further north where it's really cold until you guys get, bored and leave.
That's it.
Okay, so this is going to probably piss people off because it pisses me off. You know, and you know, you're going to show you. It's these nuisance streamers.
oh god, these twats.
Oh, fuck off.
Problem of so-called
Fuck off with this shit. Jesus, we're just giving them attention, man.
platform Kick, and most recently the creator Kizzy, who reportedly is around 14 years old. And yesterday, the
14.
clip of his live stream went viral. And you see him walking past an outdoor patio restaurant.
Yeah,
he
now
gets
we're just
hands
giving him
and
all the
orders nachos
attention.
and then walks away while eating one. But then one of the
It's
women from the
news.
table
News
gets
gives
up,
people
she
attention
follows him, and
regardless.
it leads to this extremely cringy confrontation.
Put your hand in my food again, and I'm throwing all of your phone.
You're not touching our phone.
Don't put your hand in my food again. No, you're not touching my phone. Touch my phone, I'm gonna actually do something. Are you gonna beat me up? I will. I want to know how old are you? 5?
You know, with all this, unsurprisingly, this was a big topic in the streaming space. So that's why we ended up seeing a lot of streamers reacting to Kizzy as well.
The problem is that a lot of the platforms don't ban you for this activity. And also, like, if you're a little kid, this is what's going to seem cool to you. There's nobody that has gone through puberty who laughs at this.
Because in no way is the problem limited to this one asshole. What he is doing is a copy of a copy of a copy of people that are popular on this platform. You got people harassing others, fights just breaking out into the streets, to a lesser extent, people driving cars at 150 fucking miles an hour. And it's just going to be a matter of time before a person or people get killed during one of these live streams in the public streets or roads. But follow to stay in the loop. We should talk about.
Like, remember Mizzy, and
Yes.
that's Kizzy. Like, you know, and because he's a child, he'll get away with a lot of shit. Personally, I just hope somebody smacks him big time. and
I
puts
don't.
him
He's,
in-
he's 40 years old.
He went to prison
Who,
because he
Mizzy?
kept. Yeah, he went to
Yeah,
prison.
yeah,
He got-
yeah, but he because he eventually he became over 18 and he became an adult, and then he became liable for things. But kids like this, you know, they think they pick their target. I mean, that woman, he probably thought, yeah, she's weak and I can get away with it. They're looking at their targets and they're picking. And people like Mizzy did the same thing as well. They look at people, they think they're weak, and they can go after them. And
Parents should be liable in that case.
yeah, and you know the fact, you know, the people like this, even on Kick, you know, like Kick is not like a channel that does bend the rules, but even they need to draw a line somewhere. And I think nuisance streamers, prank streamers, you know, I really don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I don't
You know,
like
people
it
think, like people are saying, "Oh, don't worry, it's only a prank. Look, there's a camera over there." Well, so fucking what? You know,
It's not a prank. It's a nuisance. A prank is an
Yeah.
elaborate setup that's all in good jest. Being a public nuisance, destroying somebody's day, disrupting somebody's day, is not a prank. It's just being a cunt. And I definitely blame TikTok. I'm not saying ban TikTok, but people like this that cause public harassment should be banned from all social media. It's as simple as that. You know, we've got facial recognition technology, for fuck's sake. The minute you scan somebody's bloody face, you'll be like, okay, bang, that's it. You're not allowed to
Well,
start your creating
The
an account.
reason why I want to show this because it brings me into what Ron DeSantis wanted to do in Florida. And initially, I'll be honest with you, initially I was totally against it. But when I started hearing some of the arguments for it, it made me think a little bit differently because he wants to ban kids from social media if they're like under 14 or 15 years old. And when I first thought of this, I thought this is the fucking most stupidest thing ever. But considering, how addictive people are, like like there are kids who don't put down their phone, whatever they're doing, they're vacuuming, taking a shit, having a shower. They've got a fucking phone in their hand. They're never putting it down ever. Everything is always to do with social media, constantly being on it. And maybe a ban like this, for them to not be so engrossed in it so early on in their lives, they have to be a certain age to use social media, to be more precise. Might be a good thing if it stops the addictive process, because it's no different to drugs and stuff like that. It could be it could really fuck with people's development, and then you see stupid kids like this who use social media to harass people. But if it's illegal for them to do so, even though they'll probably get around it, I'm not doubting that. But still, if the process and the procedures makes it illegal for them to do so, and we find out the kid's already 14, then his channel wouldn't be allowed up in the first place. So maybe this is a good thing. I'm not sure what you guys think.
I'll go to Gaz first.
I mean, personally, I think that if you get caught doing any of this stuff, then there's going to come a day where you do the wrong thing to the right person, and they step to you. The thing is, that lady followed him. Now, she could have had a gun. This was in America. She could have had a gun and shot him. She could have.
What happened last year to somebody? They got shot in the stomach.
Yeah,
by
which
somebody.
fucking died. Yeah.
No, go on, guys. Go on.
And the thing is that guy is very lucky that lady didn't really, because she was getting in the face of the guy holding the camera and stuff like that. It's just well, then what more do they need to see? It's look, there's a difference between a plan, because as you was saying, which is in good jest, which is having fun. Everyone has fun, and that and stuff like Beatles About or whatever, where people were just having fun with themselves.
Those are fake, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think. But there was a little bit of fun about it. This is not fun. The other person doesn't find that funny. You dipping your favorite cruddy hands into their favorite food isn't funny. You could give diseases.
Gary, my point was: do you think it's a good idea for possibly a ban on social media, even though it's addictive, and you see kids using social media for things like this? And why, Gary?
Because the parents should be on top of what they were watching. It shouldn't be up to bans. It should be up to the parents for even being responsible.
Yeah. Christine, go on, and then I'll.
To that point, Gaz, then we shouldn't have a drinking law then, or driver's license laws. It should be up to the parents then too. I think if it's something that's affecting everyone in a native manner, vast majority of our public, then we should take a look at it and possibly put an age restriction on it.
Yeah, I mean, so my issue with it coming from DeSantis is it's got fuck all to do with worrying about kids.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, the issue that he has is that younger generations are more left wing as a result of social media, so that's why they want to bring in bans and restrictions. They want to control the narrative. They don't want outside sources controlling everything for them, and so that's why they want to do it. It's nothing to do with the thing. That being said, I mean, it's a slippery. It's a grey area, because there should be some parental oversight, but there should also be some restrictions if they're getting too addicted to it. I know with China, with China, they've implemented a lot of restrictions on gaming as well, because kids were getting too addictive and they were getting dumber, and so they have very strict implementations on how long kids can game.
You saw that parent who a kid was so addicted to gaming, she had to feed the kid herself physically because he couldn't put the fucking joypad down or stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean things like that. But again, it always goes on a case by case basis. There does need to be parental oversight, because I see a lot of parents, all my friends, and they got kids, and they're very careful with how they, with their kids and their social media use. They always make sure that the kids, but from a young age, they've made sure that the kids have an active life as well. They're not just glued to a monitor all the time. They make sure that the kids are doing all this shit. But that's parents that are in a situation where they're well off and they can do things and all this kind of shit. For other people who don't have nothing and they're poor and the parents have to work 24/7, obviously there it's a bit difficult. I just, you know, I don't have a right answer because
I know.
I understand. I understand. Yes, it can be too addictive, and kids shouldn't be on there. There should be
information as well. Yeah, and all of that too. Which a lot of it have. I'm very torn. Look, sorry, Chris. Regarding Ron DeSantis, with Cheeto finding to he finds it hard to believe that I'm supporting him. No, I don't support Ron DeSantis. I understand this legislation, but he being a Republican and a right winger, his legislation is not coming from a good place. It's coming from an evil place because people like him are fucking evil, and he obviously wants to control the narrative regarding left wing or liberal or progressive ideology being churned out to kids. That's what he wants to stop, because kids tend to be, obviously, as you just said, tends to be left wing. But overall, my situation is that I do see kids constantly on their devices. They can never put it down. It's a terrible rhetoric we're creating for today's generation, and there needs to be some sort of control over it for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
go on, Chris.
Go on, Chris.
I think there's a way to do both, and that's to lower the ban age to 12. That way you get their childhood taken care of, and they don't become addicted, and they spend more time exercising and doing, valuable things for their life. But when they turn 13, then they can start to get exposure, not just to my beliefs, but to all beliefs, and then have a more educated, hopefully more educated and more reasoning when they do turn 18 and then can vote. And I don't support.
The thing is, just to interject, they're not meant to have an account if they're 13.
An
13.
account.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know that.
They can still watch social media, but it's the account.
I'm not done.
Yeah.
As for that woman that fed her child, children will not sit there and starve to death. They will get up and feed themselves. If they're old enough to play a game, you don't have to feed that child. And I would call CPS on her.
Yeah.
And Gaz wanted.
But I mean, you do have I think in the UK you definitely have this where you can turn off the Wi-Fi, where you can manage the Wi-Fi and turn it off and turn off internet use. And as I said, I think that is a really good idea because what Christina said about exercise and stuff like that, you should say, right, you get this much time for just being pissing about doing gaming or being on social media, doing TikTok shit. You did that. But I'm going to monitor what you watch, okay? But this amount of time you're going to spend outside in the park, doing walks, doing football, doing whatever, and that's what you're going to do during the time. You, as a parent, are responsible for what your child does. I'm sorry, this nice state shit pisses me the fuck off because it's taking the responsibility and accountability away from parents who should be held to account. If you can't parent properly, do not be a parent.
Gary, just to emphasize, because we mentioned this earlier, Ginger brought it up. It's about having an account. Kids are still going to go on YouTube. They're still going to go on Twitter, whatever. But what they're not allowed to have until a certain age is an account. That way, they are not able to make YouTube videos like this dickhead little 14-year-old piece of shit wanker cunt. Well, I can't wait till he's 18. I hope he gets the fuck knocked out of him. Yeah, make stupid videos like this, being a menace to society. Because people, that's what these kids are doing at a young age. They're being a menace to society, but they want clout. This is the only way they know how to do it. And not being able to have accounts is the best way to stop them from doing shit like that.
And holding the company accountable would be also a good way. Like no letting it slide anymore. Like, oh, we don't have the technology. Like Ginger said, we've got facial recognition. It shouldn't be an issue.
Facial recognition, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's privacy." Listen, they've already scanned your fucking face.
I was gonna say they've already done it.
They've already done it. You just don't know that they've done it, but they fucking done it. So I say, implement it. Yeah, have and because that's the best way to impose it because everyone's on their phone. All right. It's not like they're going on a laptop. The vast majority of people are consuming media from their phone. And so the best way to do it, it's just facial recognition. No, okay, your face, you're too young. Block, stop. That's it. And to Gary's point as well, it's not only some mobile phone companies as well. You can control the data as well, as you can cut their data off at certain times as well. And I'm all for that. Look, if my kid's online and he's learning shit, like proper learning, rather than being a twat on social media, I'd let them go on there because at least they're stimulating their mind in that regard. But if it's just TikTok and stupid YouTube videos, like the garbage that kids watch on YouTube is just like
NerdTube. NerdTube is the worst.
That's right. We are the absolute worst. But so like with my my brother and my sister-in-law now, they don't let the kids watch YouTube because I'm like, you're watching garbage, unstimulated shite, and you're not. You can watch your cartoons on your Netflix and all of that, but not YouTube because you're like they're 6 and they're starting to, it's just too much.
Yeah.
Proper creative media, they're happy to watch, but they have to So I went there this morning because they're on Easter holidays. So I said to my brother, look, okay, I'm happy to come around nice and early so you two can lie in and I'll look after the kids and all this kind of stuff. So I went there, got there really early. I didn't sleep much. That's why I had a fucking long ass nap when I got back. When the kids came to me, they come down in the morning. I say, look, have breakfast, watch a bit of TV, and then you go off and do activities. So they get however long their breakfast lasts. And it's funny because when I say that, they eating like this. Yeah, exactly. But I don't care. As long as they're eating. One of them, sometimes he doesn't eat much. But because of that, going slow, as long as they eat, that's all I care. But once they finish, turn the TV off. Mum and dad are like that as well. So I'll keep it consistent. I don't want to be like the uncle that lets him get away with things like that. No, I want your brain stimulated. And so I just put tasks that kind of help stimulate their brain and have fun with that. Whilst I've got my laptop and my face is planted on fucking social media at the same time. So yes, hypocrite, total. But
I don't want to shit on YouTube completely because you can get a proper education off YouTube if you find the
100%. But they're not watching it. They're not watching that.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah,
that's what I mean to you, Sam. So if they're watching history documentaries or good documentaries, science stuff, all that, I'll let them fucking watch it till the cows come home and mate and have other calves and the cycle of life continues. But they're watching unpackaging of toys with stupid sound effects or a bunch of dumb shit that makes no sense. And it's it's not stimulating your brain. But I'd happily let them consume it for most of the day if it's educational stuff. Yeah, for sure.
I'm spending 15 minutes a day on YouTube, but I'm an adult and I'm learning or brushing up on my French. But I can make those decisions now, right? It all depends on what you're watching because YouTube the majority is shit, but there's some good things on it.
Oh, I love YouTube. I think it's better than TV. But again, I've curated it in a way that I get all the stuff that I stimulate. Because I'm a great parent. My son Hendrik thinks social media is shit. Lovely. We love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, even the regular channels now, your BBC ITV Channel 4 for us here in the UK. I just watch the website versions of that. So if there's something on the BBC that I might have missed, I'll just go on the BBC iPlayer and watch it that way.
I want to do it unpacking because you guys still haven't sent me my shrimp chips.
Oh, for fuck. I forgot. My memory sucks. You'll have to keep reminding me. Yeah. And you know what? I went to a local shop. Hang on, Zam. Hang on. No, I'm just kidding. I went to a local shop and they had crab flavored Lay's crisps. Obviously, they come in from the continent. Oh my God. They're so good. They're so good. They taste like. Oh, I love those. They're the roast beef Tesco finest.
Roast beef and horseradish. The dog's bollocks. Cheeto. The dog's bollocks, you fucking bearded son of a bitch. Fucking beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Yeah, we'll send you some of those as well. But the crab ones, it tastes like having the crab sticks. And I love crab. Well, they're called seafood sticks now. but I was fucking blown away. That was the first time I thought, you know what, I'm not just gonna have one. I went right back to the shop an hour later and I bought another 3-pack. I completely just binged. I was like, yeah. How did we get into the food of crisps? Oh yeah, because you're talking about YouTube. Yeah. Look, it's one thing to unpackage or do a review of a product, but this is like they just take the thing out of the packet. It's fucking stupid sound effects like and all this kind of stupid shit. It's just like, oh my god, no, you're not being stimulated. So no, you're not watching this garbage anymore.
And it's a child watching it, not an adult, right?
Well, I have to watch it unfortunately as well because I'm sitting there with my nephews. But yeah, it's normally children watching it.
Who the hell watches that?
I haven't watched it in years.
Rick, you are the last human I know that is watching EastEnders that doesn't have a pair of tits on them. The only people now that I know that are watching EastEnders are just women and Coronation Street and all that kind of stuff. I can't, but I've got nothing against it. I want to make this perfectly clear because it has given me, EastEnders has given me years of entertainment, years of fun, the bad acting. I mean, there was a pit. Let's be clear.
Oh, did great. Shut up, you slag.
Shut up, you stairs, you slag. Or when Sharon gives you the eyes, the Sharon eyes. Oh my god, this is the best thing ever. Like Sharon's eyes are so iconic that here in my area, like we created the term that this person is so stupid that they're giving me Sharon eyes because you look at them like Sharon does that kind of thing. But look, EastEnders from like the mid-90s until 2001 was the most must-see TV in the UK. It was a great fucking shit. You know, I think, you know what I think? I think it's after Grant left that it kind of went downhill. It was after Grant left because he was by far the best character in there, him and Phil, and then you had everything else around it that was great. But I love EastEnders. EastEnders is iconic. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about with Sharon Eyes, Gaz, if you want to carry on chatting while I find the Sharon Eyes.
Well, recently Corey, apparently I'm so old now that the teenage the girl that Sarah Jane Platt had when she was a teenage girl is now in her 20s. So apparently she's in a throuple now. Probably they're doing that as a thing in Corey now to try and get people.
I've never watched Coronation Street or EastEnders.
I could do it for you. All right, there, love. Would you? I'm going to cheat on you down the pub. That's basically Coronation Street for you.
No, I know what they are. I know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I know they're very big soap opera / TV shows in the UK, and I do watch a lot of British TV, but I've never seen those shows.
Yeah, that's Sharon Eyes. That's what we call Sharon. Because it's not. This isn't. By the way, those eyes that she does, they're not even the one where you've done something wrong. Like literally, after she finishes talking, her eyes just go like that. So she'd be like, "Oh yeah, you know, I can't believe what happened with Ian." It's so. And I want to. And British soaps are the fucking best in the world. They were the best in the world.
We can recreate an EastEnders scene right now. I'll just do Grant. I'll just do all right there, Sharon. How you doing there, you slag? You're like I saw you.
I'll never make a slip with him, Phil.
How about this?
Oh,
I went to park my car.
Yeah. Stacey Slater is your TV. I don't know who Stacey Slater is. I'll have to Google
she was in the later. She was like one of the later ones I know.
All right, Stacey Slater. Oh, her. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's nice. I used to really love Michelle. One of the. She was a Slater sister, wasn't she?
Michelle? No.
No, not Michelle. Not Michelle. Not Phil's. Not the earlier
Ian's wife.
Yeah, not her.
Oh, do you mean Michelle Ryan? You mean the one who played? She played
Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe
Slater. Yeah, Zoe Slater.
Yeah.
And she's a local lass as well. I saw her like God knows how many times in the town, and that so beautiful, even in person, tall as well. Like couldn't fucking believe it. Yeah, she was stunning. She went off she left EastEnders, and I feel bad for her because she's a solid actress, and she went off and she did the reboot of Bionic Woman.
Yeah,
but it was really bad, and so obviously the series never got picked.
I've been to Elstree Studios, and I've had Danny Dyer in my car, who was in that.
They call you a slag.
No, but the funny thing is, he gets into my car. He knows that we're leaving, and there's a bunch of teeny boppers outside the gate for whatever reason. I have no idea. But because he sees them, he opens up his window and kind of half sticks his head out so they can see him. And then as I'm driving past them, I can hear them going, "Oh, that's Danny Dyer. That's Danny Dyer," and all that sort of stuff. I'm dropping him to a photo shoot not too far from Boreham Wood, and he gets on the phone. This is the funniest part. Yeah. He gets on the phone and he's talking. I don't know who he's talking to, but he's saying these words all the time. You know, that fucking geezer, that cunt, contract, geezer, cunts, geezer, fucking geezer. You know, the whole fucking time.
He's been typecast. He's a typecast.
He can't play any other role. That's all he can play.
No, he's actually the funny thing is there was this one drama on Channel 4 where Ray Winston was his dad, who was an ex-footballer who was a football agent, and he was the son of Ray Winston, but he was not. Because he was brought up rich. He was a bit of a middle class guy, and he doesn't like football, and that was probably his best performance because he played somebody who wasn't a Cockney, who was middle class and didn't like football. And Danny Dyer loves his football. And I thought that was his best performance because he's always fucking playing East Londoners. Even when he saw me and he goes to me, "Cab for Danny Dyer," I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Sweet as." Like
Oh, fucking legend.
Yeah, he was cool with me, by the way, because I've heard some negativity about him regarding being a customer, but with me, he was all right. He was all right with me. No problems whatsoever. And Danny Dyer in my cab.
There's a video online where they showed EastEnders to Americans, and they couldn't believe it was a soap. They thought it was like a Ken Loach type serious drama.
Really?
That is brilliant. But yeah,
it's the classic soap. Oh my god, it's so.
Yeah, I think just because, the acting is slightly better here in the UK when it comes to the soaps, and I use that term loose. Yeah, okay, that's why people think, oh wow,
No, it's slightly better. It's not as dramatic.
I'm a big fan of Australian soaps, by the way. I've always liked them. Neighbours was awesome, man. I mean, I don't know about
Neighbours
you guys.
Home and Away was a fucking dog spot.
Yeah.
I always preferred Home and Away because it's a bit more grittier. I found Neighbours was a bit too fucking soft shite.
But both Neighbours and Home and Away had there's actors who are in Hollywood now because of those TV series. Chris Hemsworth was in Home and Away. Guy Pearce was in Neighbours. Ian Dale, he's been in a few things in Hollywood. He was also in Neighbours as well. So yeah,
what's the pros in Neighbours?
Kylie Minogue as well.
Yeah, Kylie Minogue.
Yeah.
Do you watch Sea Patrol? That's a Australian soap.
I've seen a couple episodes.
I'm done now with Aussie soaps. There were some good shows from Australia back in the day. Like there was a show called Around the Twist. It was a kids show. That was awesome. That was really awesome.
Was Margot Robbie in a famous?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Margot Robbie was in Neighbours as well. Now the thing is, Margot Robbie was in there as well.
No idea.
They've had loads. Like anyone who's look in the UK. There is a rite of passage, and we always say to a British actor, anyone famous that I've ever met that's a British actor, I always say to him, "So, which one of these have you been in? EastEnders, The Bill, Casualty?" And they'll literally say, it's usually The Bill and Casualty. They were the big ones because they're like procedurals with one was a crime, one, and one was like, you know, ER kind of thing before ER was even a thing. And just for a camera, right? And so yeah, there's like and in Australia it was Sons and Daughters, it was Home and Away,
Sons and Daughters,
Neighbours, and Neighbours and Home and Away would stop. They stopped broadcasting them in Australia because nobody in Australia was watching them, and so they were making the shows for just purely for British audiences. And I think maybe Finland or something like that they were popular in, and it was really weird. So it's like you're making this whole Australian show, this whole kind of this Australian institution, and it's not even watched by Australians. It was only watched
we've
by
got
British
that
people.
here as well. It finally did catch on, but for years, the Trailer Park Boys.
I love this.
Well,
my favorite show of all time. One of my favorite shows of all time.
We hated it here. There was a couple like diehard fans that loved it from the beginning. Couldn't stand it for years. And then I don't know, it just became a cult classic, and we caught on to it. But if you like that, watch Leonard Kenny.
I tried. I didn't like it. Letterkenny,
Well,
I tried. Yeah,
there
I
was
did
one.
not like it.
There was one British show that was really popular in the States that nobody I knew in England watched, and that's Downton Abbey. Nobody I know in the UK watches that shit. And I picked up a couple of actually two couples of Americans, and I had to take them to Downton. Well, it's not called Downton Abbey, but where it is, it's based near Reading, that same place.
Yeah.
And they were so excited.
I mean,
and then
it was watched over here, but like you said, you had to find. I didn't know anyone that watched it.
I have still yet to meet a Brit who watches that. I've not come across one, but Americans, they love that shit. And I remember when we were getting closer to Downton Abbey, or that whatever that location was called, they made me play the music of the the theme song on my phone and through my speakers. And so I had no problem doing that at all. You know, if it meant me getting a tip, I can't remember if I got tipped or not. But if it added to the tip, then I'm going to do that for you, no problem. You know what I mean? So that was.
We liked it.
I'm gonna
here
go
too.
to a few comments. Neighbours is back on free. So it finally ended last year in on Channel 5 because it moved from BBC to Channel 5, and it finally ended. But as soon as it ended, another channel picked it up, so it's kind of been renewed. I'll be interested to see what kind of viewers they get on that. But I actually watched the last episode of Neighbours. It was a sweet send off. It was really done. Round the twist, brilliant. Yeah, fucking loved it. Every kid watched that, and it was just superb. I missed the bill. I have official the Bill Police action figures I purchased from. Oh, let's go! Love it.
Talking of Australia, did you guys ever watch BMX Bandits?
Hell yeah, Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
Before she was famous.
Oh yeah, 1982. That movie, man. Jesus Christ.
82.
Yeah.
There's a comedy squad now. I fucking can't. Wogs something from Australia.
Wiggles.
Yeah.
That's pretty. What?
The Wiggles.
No.
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 Yeah.
The Wogs.
It's an
By the way,
adult show.
Very offensive word here in the UK.
Yeah, you can't be saying that here.
Oh,
But
well, it's offensive there too, but that's the name of their show, so I'm going to use it.
Well,
they name themselves
because they would be called by white Anglo-Australians. They would be called that. That's why they're using the term.
Italian Australians, I believe.
We don't use that term here.
No. Anyone that isn't Anglo in Australia is called a WO. Yeah, it's called that. But another one.
It's not a term we use here, so it's not something that I even realized. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's the same with like calling people from like China, Oriental people. Over here in the UK, it's not a slur.
We say Asian.
Yeah, but for us, Asians are classified as Indians, basically.
Me.
People like that.
It was funny when I tell Americans I'm Asian and go, no, you're not Asian. I go, look, where the fuck is India, right? You stupid fucking dumb fuck, redneck fucking piece of shit.
We have
wanker,
Asian.
And but
East
Asian to them is people from
Southeast
China
Asian.
and all of that. Yeah,
I know.
Asian and Southeast Asian, yeah. But over here we have Asian and Oriental.
I mean, yeah, well, Asia, China is Asian, India is Asian.
Yeah.
You know, like two different races, but they're both Asian. It's like European, you know what I mean? It's no different. You got Italians who are olive skin as fuck, and you got like people from Iceland who got squinty eyes and white and blonde, but they're all European.
Well, anyway, about the show I just mentioned that apparently has a slur as a title. It's a really funny comedy group or pair of guys, and I recommend watching it. You can find clips of it on YouTube. It's hilarious.
It's on Netflix over here. I didn't like it at all. I tried, but I didn't like it. The guys that do that, they're Greek. The ones that do that show.
Is that? Yeah, they're olive skin.
Yeah, they're Greek. The guys that do it. I tried watching it, but I couldn't get into it. But I tell you what, there's another great. So there's a guy called Paul Fenek who is fucking hilarious. So he's Maltese, but he created a show. His first show that it came out was Fat Pizza, which was a huge hit in Australia. Then after that, he did a show called Swift and Shift Couriers, and then Housos, and then he went back to doing the pizza one and all this kind of shit. His stuff is fantastic. It is so funny. It is so unpolitically correct, but in a good way. I can't recommend, especially Swift and Shift Couriers and Housos. They are fantastic. The pacing, excellent.
Message me the titles, okay?
I'll message you the titles. If I find any videos on YouTube, I'll send them to you. But they're in like my top 10 favorite sitcoms of all time. It will be Housos and Swift and Shift Couriers. His stuff is fantastic as well. Yeah, there's loads of great stuff that comes out from like Australia that people should see. But Trailer Park Boys, yeah, I watch it all the time. Yeah. There's like 5 sitcoms that I watch constantly. Like not a week goes by where I won't catch a couple of episodes, and it's Trailer Park Boys, Bottom, Household, Swift and Shift Couriers, and well, usually either Father Ted or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I like
those are always in rotation.
Halen Pace,
Father Ted, but and you're even missing some of the stuff in Trailer Park Boys because it's very Canadian. And you've got characters that come in, what is that called? Just for one episode, but they're famous elsewhere. Cameo.
Yeah.
And you might even
cameo.
miss them.
Yeah, like we don't know who they are, but obviously Canadians will know them. So you
And
get
it's
like
funnier.
players that come in.
Yeah.
Or the ones I recognize were like Rush when they were in it, like Alec Leipzig was in it. And he was in it because he was a huge Trailer Park Boys fan, like massive fan. Because when the show ended, he went off and when they did another show called Happy Fun Time on Drugs Hour, something like that. It was terrible. And Alec Leipzig was in there as well. He wanted to be in that sketch show with them. But yeah, a lot of them. Is it Rita Neal was in it, an episode as well, picking weed and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, so some of the ones we recognize, but a lot of them we don't know.
Oh, when it comes to Canadian stuff, I remember Kids in the Hall. That was pretty cool. That was a sketch show back in the day. I like that.
They've actually started making it again.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. We made it. It was really good. It was really good.
Okay.
And one of the characters used to one of the characters used to dress up in drag as your queen and imitate the queen in Kids in the Hall. That was hilarious.
Yep.
And the other show.
No, Rick. Because I don't really enjoy. I don't enjoy wrestling when I'm doing watch-alongs because I can't hear the crowd and the commentary and yeah.
The problem with WrestleMania is 2 days, and that's just too demanding.
Yeah.
And I myself. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it being 2 days, but just not as for watch-alongs, and I'm going to be going to Derby tomorrow, and I just won't have the energy. Plus, I got to work, as well. So I need to, at some point I need to sleep. The other show, by the way, from Canada, I love. Well, it's based in America, but it's got a Canadian main character, and that's Due South. I love that show so much. That show was awesome.
Yeah.
Due South was amazing.
Fun fact: it was bigger in the UK than it was in the States. Due South. That's why it didn't last very long.
What about
it was
Canada?
massive here in the UK.
Was it popular in Canada? It must have been.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it just wasn't popular in the country that it was meant to broadcast to, and so they cancelled it.
Yeah,
How many seasons?
Quite a few, actually. At least
Oh,
6, I think.
About 4 or 5, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah, because I remember when they changed the actor for one of the main characters, and he wasn't the same after that because the 2 main characters were so good initially, and then they played it for this generic looking flaming dude bro looking guy. It just wasn't.
I know Leslie Nielsen was in it as well, and the funny thing, Leslie Nielsen was in it as well for latter seasons.
Yeah, he played the guy's dad.
He played the guy's dad, and then he played like the dead version of his dad, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
And the fact that they acknowledged that he looked like Leslie Nielsen, even though it was Leslie Nielsen playing him. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
It was a great show. They only did 66 episodes, which I know to us that's a lot, but by American standards, that's not a
back
lot.
then.
6 series, not episodes.
No. The 66 episodes. They only did 4 series.
Yeah, you said 6 episodes at first.
Whoops. Sorry.
Yeah. I can't believe you don't like Leonard Kenny, because that's another great one.
Yeah, I tried. Didn't like it.
Well,
it's really weird.
These 2 can try it.
I have no idea. Yeah, link me. So.
Oh yeah. By the way, I tried to watch that Ricky Stenicki. Fucking hell! I wanted to pull my eyes out.
I couldn't. I lost.
Look, I am the minority because I want to say when I did my review of it is I knew that this film would be very unpopular and a lot of people would hate on it, and I could totally understand it. But for some reason, I found the film endearing enough for me to like it and I felt embarrassed that I liked it because I know how shit it is for everyone. Yeah, how shit it is for everyone else. But I will not stop till my mum will shoot. I always remind you of that. But regardless, I know it's shit. I know it's stupid. I know the premise is idiotic. But I didn't mind it. I thought it was. I'm not saying I loved it. I found it.
You don't have to You don't have to justify. You liked it. You liked it. Fuck what everyone else thinks.
No, I didn't. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay.
Doesn't matter. It falls into the so bad it's good territory, right?
I guess. Yeah.
It's not. You just enjoyed it. Whatever. It's like I say to people that when we used to get into that whole Last Jedi argument and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, if you liked it, you liked it. I don't give a shit. It's no skin off my nose. We're not here to pick hairs.
John Cena, like John Cena is different to The Rock. The Rock always wants to be the badass, the cool guy in everything he does, and John Cena is humiliating himself in this role. He's playing what I said in my review is that it's the comical version of the talented Mr. Ripley. It really is. You know what I mean? You got this guy who pretended to be somebody else, but is played for laughs. Unlike the talented Mr. Ripley, which was very disturbing at times. You know what I mean?
Actually, they remade that as a TV series with which I need to watch.
Yeah,
but I mean, as I said, John Cena was the only reason I stuck with it for half an hour, and then after a bit, I was like, no.
It had Zac Efron in it as well, and it had the guy from Shameless who's been in a few things. His name escapes me. It had a few recognizable actors, which elevated it to a degree.
I tell you what, though, I really can't get over what Efron has done to his face. Like
plastic surgery.
What did he do?
Dude, I just fucking Botox his lips and his fucking face and all of that. It just looks weird.
He's got a real puffy face.
I'm gonna leave, but before I go, another
William
good
H. Macy,
Canadian show that you have to watch, and I'll leave with that is Schitt's Creek.
Love Schitt's Creek.
Yeah,
Love Schitt's Creek.
My dad loves that.
Brilliant.
My dad loves that show.
How do you get away with a name like that?
Because it's SCHITT. The people call Schitt's is a Jewish surname or Yiddish
like
surname.
Shitstill.
And it's basically done by Eugene Levy and his son Dan Levy. If you don't know who Eugene Levy is, he was in like Splash.
Yeah, I know Eugene Levy. He was in American Pie.
It's Levy.
American Pie, sorry.
Yeah.
And it
Loved
is
him in Splash. Yeah.
All right.
I'll see
Bye,
you.
guys. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
See
Have a
you
great
later,
night.
Chris.
Always great to see you.
You too. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
I won't.
I'm afraid I won't be out. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll take care.
Next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
To the next week.
Right. Yeah, Schitt's Creek is fantastic. It's great. That was a show that literally it just showcases when you leave. If you give people the creative freedom to do something, it shows you what they do. Because like Eugene Levy, I've always loved him, but the stuff he's been in is garbage. You know, if you outside of like his 80s stuff with that he did with like the Canadian pack of actors like John Candy and all this kind of stuff. Everything else was shit. It was only up until American Pie where we got fantastic Eugene Levy again, and then after that it was all garbage until Schitt's Creek. And Schitt's Creek, fantastic.
What was that one film where he played?
Mania 2 is tomorrow. Yeah, I've left the
Wait.
group, so I don't know what's going on there. But just let me know. Whatever.
Well, you're right. It is William H. Macy. I think I mentioned that earlier. But what was the name of that film where he played? He worked alongside the cop or something like that. It might have been. What was that?
That was John Candy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where they're driving like a truck at the end, bike at the end, and all this kind of
No,
stuff.
yeah, the part where he mentions how if he ever got caught by somebody, he would bite them because there's so much pressure in the bite. That one.
I don't know that one.
Okay, well, this is my thing with Eugene Levy, is that he kind of plays Eugene Levy in everything he fucking does. And my thing with actors is that I want to see them act, and I want to see variety and variances in their performances, not playing the same motherfucker all the bloody time, you know. So
yeah. Well, you're not going to get anything new with Levy, but I like him for who he is and how he does his performances. But with Schitt's Creek, it's his son and daughter, and what's the name of the actress, the mother from Home Alone, as well.
Yeah.
So, and the daughter Alexis, Jesus Christ, best set of legs. But she's also just legitimately just a funny actress. It was great. 2 p.m. sharp comedy. 2 p.m. That will be US time, right? So
yeah, I'm just gonna. I need to find that film. I think it might be The Man. Yeah, it was with Samuel L. Jackson. I was right. Yeah, The Man.
Was that there?
Back in 2004.
Oh yeah, I mean, fuck me. Like, yeah, that's what I mean. That era of Eugene stuff was just dog shit.
My God, he really milked the fuck out of American Pie. Jesus Christ.
That was a good paycheck for him. We need to try and get a hold of Jose. Message him on Twitter. 7 p.m. Ginger time. Yeah.
And Down to Earth, which is a remake of Heaven Can Wait. Yeah. So
cool. All right then.
Let's wrap things up with 1 o'clock.
Yeah. I say, should we wrap this up? Sorry I came late, but you know, if you don't see me, I'm napping normally.
Well, we always say MMA, yeah.
Masturbating or hibernating.
Can we quickly talk about WrestleMania?
Chris is gone. Yeah, let's bring it up. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
All right. So the two. Do you know what? This is the rare time I'm actually going to agree with these two. 2 nights is too much. 1 night. It needs to be 1 night on a Saturday where we could all watch this thing. Because 2 nights, I'm sorry, that's just too much.
It needs to end. It's too much. They brought it in during. That's fine, because they couldn't do the house shows where they would make up their.
They're never ending it, dude. They're gonna. It's never ending.
Shit out of it. You're gonna have crime everywhere.
WrestleMania 35 was 8 hours long, and it was 1 night.
8 hours.
It was 8
That's
hours.
too much wrestling.
And that was before COVID. This was before COVID, and obviously COVID kicked in. They made it a 2-night thing after that. But if you're gonna have an 8-hour show, you might as well split it up into 2 4-hour slots. In my opinion, it's a lot more palatable. And I'd rather have like 2 4-hour shows than 1 maybe 6-hour show or something like that, or 1 8-hour show. Because if you do a 6 or 7 8 hour show, you're absolutely finished. I remember when I went to watch WrestleMania.
That should always just be a card. 6 matches. That's all you fucking need. I don't need every cunt on the roster being in fucking WrestleMania.
Yeah, but they got so many people now. Everyone wants that WrestleMania
Yeah,
payday,
they've
don't
got
they?
like 200 people on their roster for a start.
They don't get any extra. They don't get like royalties anymore from like this kind
I
of
have
shit.
no
So,
idea. I have no idea, but
you know,
you hear about all that shit. And
you don't sell pay-per-views. You don't sell tapes of this stuff anymore, so they don't get fucking royalties. So I don't know if they get appearance bonuses, in which case fine, but I don't even know if they get that anymore.
there's still one more stop, by the way, because SmackDown's tomorrow, and we'll see what
SmackDown is now.
Oh yeah, so SmackDown is now. Yeah, I'll let
Right
you guys
now.
watch it. Then yeah, if you
Right
guys,
All right.
yeah,
So I'm going to make a prediction. The Rock is going to interfere in Cody vs Roman and cost Roman the title. There you go. There you go. That's my prediction.
Well, people are really all in for that. For me, he took Cody outside and made him bleed the Mama Road stuff. It makes no sense.
No.
for him
What
all
I'm
of a
saying
sudden-
is he does it by accident. So like he goes to hit Cody again, he clocks for Roman Reigns. He just goes, all right, and then
I don't want that. I don't want that because that Rock shouldn't be in night 2 of WrestleMania. They should be in night 1. Whatever happens, happens. The rest of the family can interfere in night 2 if they need to, but I don't want any situation where The Rock cheapens Cody's victory. That would do my nutting because it's about Cody here, and we don't need The Rock in this situation. They've got their tag team match. Everything that's been working up to this has been fucking fantastic. I've loved every minute of it. But having The Rock do anything crazy in that match is going to cheapen it, and it takes away from Roman as well. Personally speaking, do it. They do it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Regarding night 2, I think it's going to be a Bloodline Raw match. I do think Cody's going to get pinned on night 1 by either Rock or Roman. I'm not fussed who pinned him. Possibly more likely The Rock, in my opinion. But I think Seth is going to lose his belt to Drew McIntyre. You know, I think people like Jay. You know what my left field prediction is that Jimmy Uso is going to beat Jey Uso. I think people are more likely to think that Jey Uso is going to beat Jimmy, but I think it's going to be the other way around. And on top of that, I do feel that Seth and Jim and Jay are going to balance the equation for Cody when it comes to the Bloodline Rules match. So he's not bombarded by the Bloodline. They'll take some of them out so he can just focus on Roman Reigns. You know, and I think the smartness of Cody
of like Tama Tonga coming in to kind of help with the balance as well. Who's is like a cousin of theirs. Everyone's a fucking cousin.
Yeah, but you don't want to bring him in at Mania and people go, who the fuck are you? You might as well bring somebody more established, like maybe Stone Cold comes in to fucking balance things up. You know, that would be more of a Mania thing to do. Or John Cena,
I mean,
or something like
Tama
that.
is known in the indie circuits, but the mainstream aren't gonna know who the fuck.
It being Mania and stuff, you want to Stone Cold it or John Cena it. You know, if you really want to balance things up for the faces, and I do think they're not necessarily going to interfere and beat up Roman Reigns, but they'll just take out the other people who would interfere, so it just becomes Cody and Reigns.
And I reckon Gunther loses his belt as well in Mania.
I don't think he's going to lose the belt because nobody's cheering. Yeah, nobody's cheering Sami Zayn. Nobody gives a fuck about Sami Zayn. They want Sami Zayn in the main event scene. They don't want him. They were pissed off that he beat Chad Gable, and because if Chad Gable had won the match against Sami Zayn and he was going against Gunther, then maybe that he would have been the one to dethrone it. Because Chad Gable and Gunther had a mercy match, and everyone's like touting it was one of the best matches of the year from last year when it happened, or this year, whenever. It was really fucking good because Chad Gable was a fantastic wrestler. Like him and Jason Jordan were a great tag team to watch in NXT as the Alpha Academy or whatever they were called back then. But yeah, I don't think I can't see him losing. If he does, okay, it happens. But yeah, they shit the bed with Sami Zayn. That was the biggest crime they ever did. But it's because they wanted Roman to fucking do all these stupid records. Like they didn't mean anything in wrestling, for fuck's sake.
You know, people going on, he's going to beat Hulk Hogan's record. So fucking what? You know, he's not going to beat Bruno Sammartino's record, is he? You know what I mean? So he's the third most longest title reign holder. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? These things are so stupid when you think about it. He's not going to keep the belt for fucking 7-8 years. You know, he's going to relinquish it eventually. So what if he beats Hogan or not? Those things are so irrelevant.
When CM Punk fucking like entered the top 10 during his reign, because he had the belt for a year, we didn't care. But we was just saying, hey, book him better. You're booking him in like he's not even main. How does your main champion not main event WrestleMania, for fuck's sake? Like, you know, it's the records are irrelevant. They don't mean anything because you're not really like fighting to keep them for like legit. You know what I mean? It's different if it's an actual fucking belt.
I mean, but I will say this though, and I know that Cheetah's going to hear this, he's going to start moaning, but the fact that Roman Reigns has kept this belt, and also he's still on the leukemia medication, fucking fair play to the guy for being in the shape he is to have the matches he can do. Because
you're always going to be on medication, yeah, of course you are, because you don't want it coming back. I mean, that's not shocking. You know, it's just tragic that he had leukemia in the fucking first place. But telling us you're on medication and all that, we know. It's shit. And I hope it never fucking comes back. I'm not taking anything away from Roman Reigns. Like, what we're just saying is that they should have booked it a lot better than what they have with it. Like, showing up once a year is just stupid. And next year, if they want to do The Rock versus Roman now, they've got legitimately good reasons to do it, because there needs to be fallout from this WrestleMania that you could build.
No, look, personally, you need to keep the momentum going. 1 year later is just too long. Do it for SummerSlam. You know, you don't need to do everything at WrestleMania. Do it for SummerSlam. Like SummerSlam, a main event like that for SummerSlam would be good enough. You know, Rock's no spring chicken. You know what I mean? He'd be like 54 or whatever by that time. Like, this, you know, and so for sure. But I know at some point, in my opinion, because the way they've been going on with the feud, Cody needs to face The Rock. You know, because you almost feel like them two are feuding and not Roman Reigns. As well. And Roman Reigns, he needs to stop looking like Rock's little brother, because Rock comes out there with his Versace fucking waistcoats and shit, you know, dripped. He looks like literally a final boss in a video game. He does look like that. And it's a great moniker. I love the final boss Rock. This is who he's not Hollywood Rock. He Hollywood Rock was quite jovial. This Rock is very menacing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Final boss Rock.
The thing with the entrance, the music, everything has been fucking
everything. The thing, like people are saying, Roman Reigns needs to stop this, that, and the other. If this is the catalyst that leads to a feud, then it's great what they're doing by pushing Roman to the side. But if it goes nowhere, then they've shit the bed with it, because they made their champion basically become a side character in this whole feud, which is ridiculous. But they should be playing into that if they want to tell a good story.
Sorry.
I don't care what you think.
Well, like for instance, like the way Roman Reigns has been dressing, like he's coming out there in jeans and a hoodie and stuff like that. He looks like one of Rock's lackeys. Come out there like Cody Rhodes, wear a suit. You don't even wrestle, man. Just dress like you're a fucking champion. Look like a fucking champion. You know, come out there. You know, look like you're Rock's equal, not like his fucking lackey. You know, he needs to
come
change
out
his
like
appearance.
a fucking chief. That's what you meant. Come out like a chief. But to be fair, I agree with this. Yeah, The Rock overshadowed Roman because Rock is way more entertaining than Reigns, for sure. I mean, Reigns is not very entertaining. Let's be honest.
I just
no. Look, Rock is another level, but Roman Reigns is good, but he's not The Rock. I totally agree with you there. But at the same time, yeah, because Rock is a nostalgia act that is who's like surpassed wrestling because of Hollywood. He's just so much bigger than Roman Reigns could ever be.
Well, me and Jason are arguing whether he's boring and debate media tomorrow, so we will.
Oh, perfect. There you go. Well, we'll sit in on that. Yeah. Okay. So we'll end it there because we'll.
But yeah, hopefully it's a good event, and hopefully there's some really good matches on it. Because last year, I'm trying to. Was there a good match on last year? The fact that I can't remember is telling me. Well,
I thought the tag team match was fantastic. The Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
I mean,
that was all. Yeah. So I thought Dominic versus Ray was very good as well.
Agreed.
That was a better match than I anticipated, and the fact that they're going again kind of shows.
I thought Drew's match that he had last year was really good as well.
Carlito's going to turn heel, by the way. That's my prediction. He's going to turn heel and he's going to cost Ray the match.
Wasn't Sheamus versus Gunther last year?
Yes. Yeah, no, it's three-way. It was Drew, Gunther, and
no, not last year.
That was last year.
No, he did say 3 years. He said it's a three-way. He did say it was 3 years ago. Yeah, it was a three-way. That was my favorite match. That one.
Yeah, but it was Drew, Gunther, and someone else. I think it was. I think it was.
Yeah, that was a great. That was a really good WrestleMania match. One of the best of all time.
I agree. Fucking phenomenal.
All right, let's wrap this up because I'm tired.
All right. Well, as I've been hosting, let me wrap it up. All right, everyone out there, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Keep an eye out for us tomorrow. We will be on at what time tomorrow?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock UK time for Debatermania, baby. The pre-show to WrestleMania, where we talk and we walk the talk and talk the walk and all of that sort of stuff and debate all types of issues. Make sure you're there. It's going to be really cool, and give us your opinions on who wins those debates and mark them down. All right, take care, everyone. See you later. Peace.
See you later.